Mm.
All right, all right. Well, you guys, it is the time of the year. Yes, it is. So,
Yes, it is.
as we always say, hello, 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 and welcome to the Get Caught Up podcast. I am your host, Untamed, and I am joined by my let me go this way, lovely co-host, Miss Crystal. My love, look, formerly my love of books, now books and soul.
Yes. Hi, you guys. Like this is a lot. This is so
Yes,
much pressure.
this
Because then
is
you got to go through the books. And then you be like, but I like this one and I like this one. Because Untamed was like, let's do 10. And I was like, okay. And I wrote down my 10. And then she was like, no, I need 20.
I need
So
20. I need
she said, I
20.
needed 20.
I
And
need
then I started agreeing with her. We needed 20.
because normally it's the top 10 this year. It's for doing the top 20. That should let you know just how stiff this competition has been.
Mhm.
How great the writing has been this year. And it started out in 2020, to be honest with you. When the pandemic hit, it's like God bless the hands and the pens and the fingers of every author out there because this writing has been phenomenal ever since 20.
Yes, you guys. Y'all
So
have been killing it. Y'all have
it's
been killing it.
absolutely. So like we always do at this time, I got to sit up here and give a major shout out and love to the sponsors. This is the end of the year. This is our last show for 2022. So, yes, I know, but we're going to be back 2023. But this is the last
We
show.
sure will.
So, major love to our sponsors. First of all, Untamed Publishing. It is the number one sponsor. So, please allow Untamed Publishing to help you with your literary journey. If you are in need of literary services such as synopsis writing, editing, proofreading, hey, or if you just want to be a guest on the Get Caught Up podcast, visit www.untamedpublishing.net. Sign up for the website so you can be a subscriber, so you can continue to be in the know of everything that is going on with UP, with the Get Caught Up podcast. That is the place where you will do it. So please do go there, sign up. And shout out to the rest of our sponsors: EXO, MB, Women of Vision, Kiana Dene, Exodus Morgan, JC, KB's Bookshelf, Butterfly Spirit, ELW, Tyler Landscaping, Jones Lawn and Pressure Washing, and me and my son's lawn care. You guys have rolled us through the
Thank
20,
you.
and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. So hopefully we will be on the road again for 2023. I hope you guys stay with us, and I'm sure that you will. But I just want to show you some major love and thank you from the bottom of our Get Caught Up podcast hearts. That's
I'm bowing. Thank you.
bowing. So
Yes.
Crystal, it's time, girl.
Woo!
It's
Let me tell
time.
you.
It's time. So I think I normally start, but I'm going to let you start off with your number 20, and I'm going to hop in with my number 20 after you. So, my dear, you have the floor.
All righty. Now, so my list, I have, let me just tell you this. I have some new authors to me. I have some series. I'm all over the place, okay? But it was worth it. And I loved it. Now, this author, my top 20, my number, I said my top 20. My number 20 is Lace Panties by Tip Montana.
Okay, let's
Let me tell y'all something.
hold on. Let me write this
I,
down. I
yeah,
think
this book was so freaking hot. Do you hear me? So freaking hot. So this year I felt like I was reading books with, girl on girl threesomes, and I was here for it, honey. And this book right here were like a bunch of short stories about sexual experiences. So they had threesomes, they had girl on girl, like it was hot, and I loved it. So if you have not read Lace Panties by Tip Montana, go pick it up. Go pick it up. Okay. So I go from nasty to the next one is a little sweet.
So I listen.
Look, let me get my pen ready because you know me and Untamed gonna be sitting here like, oh, well, let me go ahead and read this if we haven't read it.
Look, so you ready for my number 20?
Yeah, because look, I'm gonna see if it's on my list and if I need to read it or if I have read it.
All right. Now y'all know, well, y'all might not know. I've said this a trillion times, but I'm gonna say it again. The way my time schedule is set up, I cannot sit down and read a paperback. So I have only read one paperback and one ebook this year. The rest of it is audiobook. So everything that I bring to you today, with the exception of two, is gonna be from an audiobook. So if I sat down to read your book, like for real, read it, that means I got infinite love for you. And Ebony at number 20, I got infinite love for you. And I'm calling her Ebony, but that's just a play on her name. But her name is Ebony Evans, and this is her book.
It's so pretty.
Yes, look, I'm trying to see if I get in the camera. I see a little glare, so there we
You
go.
got it right there. Perfect.
There's Ebony Evans. Y'all listen. She is the president of the ICU Reading and Chatting Book Club. And she decided to take her hand at her own pen this year. And she did a phenomenal job as a debut author. This book was a journey, from healing, and it's raw and it's earth shattering. And it actually leaves the readers with little nuggets of wisdom that's like a soothing balm to your personal pain. This,
Ooh.
yes, it's about Ivory. Ivory actually, it was a family devastation. Ivory's father went missing for 12 days, and it takes
Mm.
through this journey of what the family had to go through, what she individually was going through, and ultimately what happened, with her father. But when I tell you, even though this journey seems like it was devastating, and it was, she wrote it in such a way where it was comical at times, and it was dropped wisdom a lot of times. Like I love a book that when you read it, you can come out better than when you went in and you started it.
That's what it's about.
It
That's what
left
it's supposed to be about.
it left you better. It left you better as a person, as a human being. She did the damn thing as a debut author. Ebony, I'm so proud of you. You are my number 20.
Yes.
Yay!
And we actually got to interview her about the book.
We sure did on the Get Caught Up podcast.
Yes, it was excellent. On the Get Caught Up podcast.
Make sure you check it out.
Yes, definitely. All right, so let's go to number 19. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, so my number 19, this is a new author to me, but she is dear to my heart as well as Miss Untamed. And, because I get to work with this author, get to be in her presence, get to be in her mind, and I love it. So my number 19 book is Darwin's Special Jewel by Miss Sassy, the author. Now,
yeah.
I went from being ratchet to wholesome and sweet. I love this book. So this book is book 2 in the 7 Giant series, and this is about Darwin. So Darwin, oh my gosh. So like I first was introduced to Darwin in Dominique's her first book, the Dominique's Mysterious Bride. And I was like, ooh, I want to know more about Darwin. I got to get to know Darwin. So when this book came, when I saw the book, I was like, oh, I get to know Darwin. This man was the sweetest thing ever. Like he had issues from his past that he worked through. But he had one secret that was still kind of bothering him. And he couldn't figure out if he really did something wrong. Now, just imagine, you're coming back home, you're working on building your relationship with your dad, and then you meet this beautiful lady that has this gorgeous little girl, and you're like, you're instantly smitten, like you want to get to know her, you want to be there for her and her daughter. And then that secret that you're holding, she's part of it.
Ooh.
Y'all, this book was so good. Like I loved it. I loved the first one, but this one was so much better. It was so much stuff that was going on. Like one time, it was not just one time, it was a couple of times. I wanted to drag a bitch.
Oh, listen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that book, it was definitely a good read. So like I said, this is book 2 of Miss Sassy the authors, the Seven Giants series, and it is called Darwin Special Jewel. Pick
Darwin
it.
Special Jewel. Congratulations, Miss.
Patience. Yes, Miss Sassy.
We love her. We love her.
Yes, we love her.
We're in a
Yes.
group together called Black Queens Who Write, and she is phenomenal. She spearheads our meetings.
Yes.
Phenomenal person and absolute phenomenal writer. I'm so glad she made the list. Oh, look at that. Go
I
ahead.
know I need to go and finish the rest of the series because it's like so many of them that I really want to do. But y'all, this reading stuff, I need somebody that's gonna pay me to read all day. Cause
Listen, ain't that the life? Ain't that the life? Girl, that's the life right there.
yeah,
So
see, I usually read while I'm at work.
if we could find somebody to do that, look, hey,
Yeah.
that's the bad. That's the bad right there. Oh my gosh. So, and I'm with you. So I'm impressed upon our group pen sisters. Like I said in the last meeting, can y'all hurry get y'all stuff on audio book? Cause
You
I
know
know
what I'm saying?
sis, I love y'all. I really do. So, but maybe I can get some in on some plane rides this year. I can get some in on some plane rides. So hopefully that'll work.
I know, like, or can we get Alexa can we get an Ebonic Alexa?
Right. That part.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I work from home, so sometimes it is easier for me to just turn her on and read. But the chick don't be knowing some of the words.
And sometimes she don't know simple words. Like
You know what I'm saying?
she honest. It just be regular English. She don't be knowing.
Girl, when that I was listening to a book and when she said DA bitch, I said, what? Go back. I said, oh my gosh, it's duh, bitch.
The district attorney bitch.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe I might need to get a Siri and see how she reads because
Look, Siri is back on the Lexus level when it comes to that. Siri's got a little bit better, but I don't know.
y'all out here. I know whoever hearing this because y'all seem to always hear stuff on people's phone because I can say one thing and next thing I know, it pops up on my timeline. So since you want to pop up on my timeline because you're being nosy, listening to what I'm saying, hear me and hear me very carefully. Give us a Black Alexa. Give us a Black Siri because then they can read our books. And then that way you're tapped into a whole new market. Like, duh, bitch.
Exactly. Hold on, let me get my fake Siri voice together. Maybe they'll hire me.
Okay, go for
it. Siri. I'm Siri. How can I help you?
Girl, can you read this book for me and read it the way that I'm gonna read it? That's what I'm gonna say.
That's what you gonna say. Hold on, let's see. Sure, Crystal. Here it goes. On the Run by Sheree Lewis. Bitch.
That's what we need. That's what we need. Cause I'm telling you, I be so mad, and I'm just like, I don't even want to. Literally, y'all, I took Alexa off my phone so she can't read my books no more because I ain't got time for her.
Well, listen, since I threw that out there, guess what my number 19 is?
I think I already know.
Hold on, let me get that up.
Right there. She's on my list. I have her on my list.
On the Run by Sheree Lewis. So that was intentional for me throwing her out there like that. That was intentional.
I like that.
That is narrated by Murray Baron and, of course, our number one King fan man, Jacoby Z.M. The twist And the turns in this book with Quay and Kana, oh my gosh, listen. This is a story about young love that gets thwarted before it can even develop, but you know from early on, like they just meant to be together. But it's thwarted because Quay's daddy got into some stuff and his old mean, rude, inconsiderate
His
behind.
goofy ass.
It's right. He did what he had to do for his family. I give him that. But it was without any consideration to his children, especially for Quay. And we later found out how detrimental that actually became. And but you gotta read the book. I'm trying to tell you right now, it is not your ordinary read. It starts off with young love, but there is a hella fine twist that happens in there. And that is something that Sheree is really good at, giving you an unexpected twist. So I ain't gonna talk too much more about it because it's on Crystal's list. I'm gonna let her pick
I'm about to say, because Crystal's going to talk about it again on her list.
She gonna talk about it again on her list. So my number 19 is On the Run by Sheree.
And
Guys.
y'all, we got to interview her. I met her in June at the Indie Love event. Y'all, I was like, oh, you fine. She is so beautiful. And
Yes.
I just asked her right in there. I was like, can you come do the Get Caught Up podcast? And she was like, sure. That was so easy. I was like, I loved it. But yeah, she is such a beautiful person. And it was such a pleasure meeting her in person. So I'm excited about that. Actually, how many people I have on my list? I got like 3, 4. I got 4 people, 5.
Look, you said 5.
6.
Look,
Let me see. 1,
it's
2,
the
3,
whole list.
4,
Because
5,
Miss
6,
Author was on there too because we had a
7.
podcast meeting with the whole Black Queens Who Write. So we had a whole
Yes.
podcast with the whole
But
group.
I met actually 7 people on my list in person this year. 7
Ooh.
authors on my list. Yes. And she was one of them. So she's my first that I met this year in person.
Yes, and her book was actually Book of the Month, and it was actually the third most streamed Book of the Month episode that we had. So get into it. Okay.
Yeah, yes, definitely get into it. It's such a great read. I loved it. Definitely loved it. All right. So my number 18 book is Blue by M. Monique.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. So earlier this year, myself and Sipton Reed teamed up with Sister Girls Book Club, and we did like a little sleepover pajama thing. And the book that we chose was Blue. And we also got to talk to M. Monique and interview her about this book. I loved this book. So it was about Blue the bodyguard, and y'all, like, now you know I don't be remembering every character name, and that's just me. I'm sorry, I got that many people in my head. But she was a rapper, and she was with this sorry blah 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 blah. Them little, y'all little ninja things y'all be putting. Yeah, she was with a sorry A ninja, and he was doing the most. Like, he was doing the most. That's what he was doing. So he finally got arrested. She got away. And when she saw the guy who arrested him, she was like, I want him. She instantly fell in love. Yeah, she did. So she went back into, she took a little hiatus. She hired him to work with her, and they fell in love. They were so cute together. I love the fact that the story took place in Colorado. So we get in the winter aspect because it was Christmas. It was a holiday. She got to spend time with her mom. So we got to see her with her family, and then also it was other things that was going on in the background. Now, let me tell you, it was some twists in this book that I wasn't ready for. And I was shocked. And I was like, that's messed up. But it was so good. So if you have not read Blue by M. Monique, pick it up.
All right.
Pick it up.
Pick it up. And I actually met M. Monique at the Atlanta Kickback. So yes, I did. And I have that book on my list to read. I have not read it yet, but I have that book on my list to read. So I will definitely be getting into that. It was a very popular book from what I've heard. So I will definitely.
Yes, I see why. It's a thick read, but it's a good read. and I read it because it's not on Audible.
Look, she said she read. That's gonna be a plane ride reading in for me. There you go.
Yes,
Plane ride.
yes. I
So
know, y'all. I know Untamed probably got so many frequent flyer miles it don't make no sense because she be zoom, zoom, like, yeah, she
I
be out there.
listen. I look. I sure do, and I'm gonna get some more.
She be out there in them airline airs, not the streets. She be out there in them airs.
Guys, airs. Listen, I just need them to get their stuff together because Southwest right now tripping on the
I,
people.
you want to know what? And I'm kind of freaked out because I'm not home. I'm out of I've been out of town since November, so
Hmm.
I'm just like, okay, I didn't do my flight until January, so please don't push me back. Please don't cancel my flight.
I got 2 flights in January, and I'm on here shaking in my Durham boots right now. I'm
Oh my
like,
God. Yeah, I keep on saying that. So hopefully by next Saturday, they didn't got themselves together and not canceling flights.
I know. So they're here talking about stuff. Go tell the people they can't reschedule it for 4 days, so go home. Lady, that's what we trying to do. Go home. What you mean? Go home.
Right.
People, if you fly somewhere half the time, you ain't home. Okay, that's right.
Right. Duh. Like, right. Like, come on now.
Listen, but my number 18, I'm like you, Crystal. This year, I explored different type of reads.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new to me author. I have not had a chance to interview him. I think he's the only male that made my list this year. But I, when I tell you, this was an audio production, honey. It was
Mm.
a book. It was an audio production.
I like those.
So
I have one of those on my list too.
it was like listening to a whole TV show movie on air. And it really
I
was
like that.
it's special to me, and I'll get into why. But the name of the book is hold on. Yeah, Lord have mercy.
Oh,
Crimes
yes. You
of
told me
Passion.
about that one.
Crimes of Passion by Jack Harvard. Okay. So it was actually,
Sarita did it too.
yes, it was narrated by Kevin Free and Ron Butler. And I will let you know this book is, it's about 2 men who are gay. Um, but it was it was such a beautiful story. It's a quick read. So I mean it's a quick listen because it's not out on book, it's just audible. It's on
Right.
only on Audible. So but it's a quick listen. But when I tell you this story, I say it was dear to my heart, your heart too. Both of them do true crime podcasts, and they were
Yes.
competition. And so it is like just the best story of an old head and a new younger generational male doing their thing, being forced to come together because they have a mutual fan and they fall in love. And it's a great story. I love this so much. Jack Harbour, you did your thing on it. I love that book. I listened to it twice.
Wow. And you told me about it and I started listening to it. So I'm gonna go back to it and that's gonna be, I gotta organize myself next year. Yeah, I'm trying to organize myself next year, like having an actual to be read list. Am I gonna stick to it? No, because I didn't even stick to my Christmas read.
Don't I just stopped doing the to be read list. Now I do put books on there just in case I hopefully can pick it up, but half the time my to be read gets thwarted. So anyway, every year, and so this year I will say I managed to get in 3 books that were actually on my to be read list.
Not
But
your girl.
but
Nope, I never do.
don't even praise me because that ain't even saying much. Because listen, you see, I'm doing a top 20. That lets you know that I had way more books that I read than these 20 that came up here. When I tell you, it was already a tussle to try to see who was gonna get on this list. And listen, people got slid off. I hate to say it like that. Not slid off the list, but it's just some books that I have to say I had to put on the list because they went so far and beyond. I wish I could
Yes,
put
yes.
everybody on the list. I really do because there was nothing that I read. I don't think I read anything that was less than a 4-star, 5-star read this year.
Yes,
That's
everything that's on my list is definitely that. And these were books that, like, some of the books were like, where did this come from? And why am I just reading it? And some of my
right.
books were like, um, Like, oh my gosh, like Blue is one of the books. Is like, why am I just reading this? Like, I couldn't put it down. Like, I really couldn't put it down. And then I had picked up some books. The same thing with Darwin Special Jewel. It was a book like I felt like, why did I wait so long to read this? And then it was books coming out, and I'm looking at the cover, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Let me read it. That's how Lace Panties was. So, I did things like that, and it's like so weird. But I agree with you, Untamed. It's like, books make this list because they touch my heart. It's because I fell in love with the characters. It's because I learned something from it. Yes, I learned something from everything from this book. Lace Panties, I'm going to tell you, I learned that sex is hot. And I learned some new things that I would definitely want to try. So, bam, that's why I read that. Darwin Special Jewel, I read that even though you're thinking that you did something wrong, if you do not open your mouth and ask and get clarity, you will never know. You will never know.
I'm gonna tell you what for On the Run for me. I love a good plot twist, but this was a unique plot twist.
It definitely was. It definitely was.
I never read it before, so that's why it had to be on my list because it was so unique. I never read that before, and the way she did it and applied it to basically Black characters, I love.
Yes.
It. So.
And then not even that. That's another book that's on my list. Was like, girl, this book big came out. Why you waiting? I have a few books like that. Like, I don't get into the hype. Like, right now, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan is huge and big. I've been hearing mixed reviews about it. And I was like, one point, like, I listened to some reviews that I was like, I don't even know if I want to read this right now because I need to get their reviews out of my head. But I want to read it. I'm such a fan of Kennedy Ryan. Like, such a fan of Kennedy Ryan. So I'm not going to talk too long because me, I can go on and on. We can go on and on about these books.
Right.
Okay, so my number 17. Now I'm going back to being a filthy chick because this book right here, woo, y'all, I wasn't ready. I sent this book to a couple of people to read, and they was like, girl, I said, Okay, so that book is called The Sweetest Heat by Bianca Xavier. I know I'm probably not pronouncing her last name wrong. I'm sorry, but this book was so damn hot. Do you hear me?
And what was it again? I said
The Sweetest Heat. It's a quick read, but it's about two best friends. And the best friend, one of the best friends, both of them are actually in relationships and they're dating best friends.
Okay.
But the best friends, the male best friends are like out traveling and the girl best friends are hanging with each other. I should have wrote their names down because it probably would have been easier. But so they go out one night and you know what? I can't even sit here and do this. Let me get my life together, y'all, and get these people's names because it's going to confuse you because it's going to confuse me saying it. Okay, so Scotty Jackson. Okay, so Scotty Jackson has a best friend. Her name is Alicia. They're best friends. Now, Alicia is dating a guy, and I cannot think of his name. And let me see if I can find it real quick. But his guy, Scotty's guy, and Alicia's guy, they're best friends as well. So, like I said, they travel a lot. They do things. You know what they do. They making their money. And they go. So Scotty and Alicia goes out one night. After they go out, they go back to Alicia's place. And Scotty is a little drunk, but she's feeling unsatisfied with her boyfriend sexually. So from the jump, Miss Bianca went in. And I'm going to just say this, and then all I'm going to say is y'all should read it because this book is filthy, and I was here for it. So Scotty and Alicia are in the kitchen at Alicia's house. And, Alicia walks up. She kisses Scotty up here. And down there. Yeah, both places. And after that, Scotty was like, wait a minute, but she was hooked. And it just kept going on and on. And then, so another time, both of their boyfriends are out of town. Alicia and Scotty went out. They come back to Alicia's place again. They in it, getting it in. And Alicia's boyfriend walks in. And you know what that man did? He sat there and looked. He was here for it. So that too. So come to find out, Alicia and her boyfriend they're swingers. They bring people into their relationship. So the three of them actually end up having a relationship, and to the point that they all fell in love with each other. I mean, it was crazy, but it was so good. But again, the sex was hot. Like,
Listen, on the list. On the list.
definitely put it on your list. So it's called The Sweetest Heat by Bianca Xavier.
Bianca Xavier, congratulations for making the top 20. Woo! Well, I'm gonna roll right on into my number 17. Now I'm gonna show y'all the paperback, and here's the thing: I had this paperback for over a year. I did not read this book yet, but I'm such a fan. I'm a lifetime fan of this author, so I will always support her by getting the paperback. But I listened to it on audio because I could, and that's for me. Like normally, when I get her books, I read it. It's done in like the first 3 days once I get it. But this is how my life been lifing this past few years. Did not have the chance to even open her paperback. So that's what I'm telling y'all. If I sit down and I read your book, I promise you it's because I love you from infinity to infinity. Okay.
Right.
Because I just don't have the kind of I don't have, but I would definitely listen to the audiobook. I promise you that. Hey, I promise you I'll listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, she definitely will.
So, but my number 17 is none other than
Oh
Butterfly 4 by Ashley Antoinette.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. And it's so funny that you pulled that up because I do read urban romance, but I mean urban fiction, all that, but I haven't got into it too much. And I have had numerous discussions with Untamed about where to start out with her. Yes. And I told her I have that series.
Listen, but let me break this down for y'all real quick. First of all, Ashley is the queen. Her and Jaquavius are the queen. Her husband is Jaquavius Coleman. They're she's the queen and he's the king of Ashley continuing their characters in different stories and different series. Butterfly basically pulls a few people in that started out in different series, but I mean that's how Ashley does. So the main family are the Okafers, and when I say the Okafers, y'all already know I'm talking about Ethic. Ethic first appears in Moth to a Flame. So like if you want to get into the Butterfly series, this is my lineup that I tell you. You don't have to, but it helps. You'll definitely need to read, in my opinion, you have to read Ethic to understand Butterfly, what's going on with that series. But Ethic appears first in the book Moth to a Flame. He appears there first. Then he reappears in books 4 and 5 of the Prada Plan series. And then it goes into his series called the Ethic series, which is 6 books. Book 1 and 6. Book Ethic, I promise you, it was the best book that Ashley wrote in her life. I swear it was. Book 6 of the Ethic series. Now that ain't to take away from the Butterfly series, because let me tell you something. She's still doing a thing now. Because you see, book 4.
Right.
But book 4 picks up basically what has happened is Morgan, which is Ethic's daughter, she has allowed her friend who turned into basically her fiance to infiltrate Bash. Bash and his royal family have infiltrated the Okafers, and some things go down, and everybody on the cusp of going to prison. Okay, and nobody knows why. But in book 4, they find out. And in good old Okafor fashion, Ethic and Messiah and Amik and Issa, we have not seen the bad boys really be bad, because honestly, a lot of them was trying to get their lives together, trying to make some changes, trying to make some moves to come up out of them streets. But them street boys has returned. And
them streets will pull you back in.
Let me tell you something. They went back to how they would look. They had to come back as Ethic prepared Alani. I gotta be who I once was. And so I can't be over here like this. I gotta be back who I was in order to make things right again. And when I tell you, he surely did. Him and Messiah and Meek and Issa, they had to go back to who they was, baby. And they went back to who they was. But when I tell you on the edge of your seat, heart palpitations, trying to figure out what's gonna happen. Um, poor look, poor Henny. That's all I'm gonna say for the people who actually into the series. Poor Henny. I feel so bad. Henny is the boyfriend slash friend of Bella Okafor, which is Ethic's baby daughter. And he get caught up in this whole. He unfortunately gets caught up in this rapture. What's going on with the Okafor family? You gotta read it. Like this is urban
Yes,
fiction,
I
but it's
plan to put
also
it on
urban
my
romance.
list next year.
It's urban fiction, but it's also urban romance. And I promise you, everybody got a love story. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all want to know who my like Ethic will always be everybody's heart. But the man, my one of my ultimate book bags that you would not ever be able to take away from me is Meek Murder Meek Meek Harris. Okay.
Okay.
Let
Let me get into this series because, like I said, I've been playing around. Look, I've been playing. I have not joined
me
Ashley's army yet, so let me go ahead and get into it.
when you get look, you will be a strong member of the Ash Army when you do. I'm going to tell you, Meek is that character who, if you really read, he snuck up on a lot of people, but I kind
Mm.
of felt that he was the ultimate Bay. You really don't find out about him being the ultimate Bay until Butterfly, maybe kind of like going into Butterfly 2. Well, it starts in 1, but definitely in
Okay.
2. But when I tell, oh Jesus, mm, mm, mm.
Well, I'm gonna
If
pick
you
it up because
if
I
you
got.
if you everybody's gonna love Messiah at first. At first, you get split and torn in Butterfly series between Messiah and Amik. But I'm trying to tell you, as much as I roll hard for Messiah, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie. Uh-uh. No, he took a whole back seat. I love Amik Harris. Can't nobody separate me from that man right there. When I tell mm,
Oh wow.
mm, mm. Listen, he is one of them gangsters who's a gentleman, okay? And he's young, but he's young with it. But when I tell you the intellect, the thoughtfulness, like
I
mm,
love it already. You,
I
like I
can't
said,
even get the
we
second round.
talk about it all the time, and I'm like, I want to read it. I just got to get into it. So I feel like I got to figure out how I'm gonna do this next year because y'all, my reading be all over the place. I be having 5 books at a time, and
Listen,
it's
and,
crazy.
and I'm just gonna tell you, like when you get started in Ashland, your top 20 probably go, your top 10 probably go.
Gonna be her whole series. Okay,
It's like two
okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
do it.
gosh. Yes, so congratulations, Miss Ashley
Yes,
Antoinette.
congratulations. Congratulations to everybody. Yes.
Mhm.
All right, so we at number 16.
Yes.
All right, so this story right here, I wasn't ready. I was not ready, but I couldn't put it down. I tell myself when I say I pick up a book and read it and I can't put it down, it's because I'm nosy and I want to know what happened. And this is one of the ones, like, it's like I wanted to live across the street from him and be through the blinds looking like all the time, like, oh, there they go again. Okay, so this book is called Conflicted Hearts by Kay Shanae.
Okay.
Y'all, this book was so good. So it was 2 sets of twins, guys and girls. So the sisters and the brothers, they married. They got married. Okay. Now, I just, okay. So they got married. So one sister was married to one of the twin brothers, and the other sister was married to the other twin brother. Okay. So what happens is two of the twins, so one of the female twins and one of the male twins, they both die. The
Oh
sister died in childbirth, having the son. The male twin he died trying to help somebody. He was shot and killed. Okay. So then the other sister and the other brother that wasn't married, they moved in with each other to help each other out raising the kids. And they fell in love.
Oh my God. Now what's the author name again? You gotta hit me with the author's name again.
Kay Shanae.
Kay Shanae.
Conflicted Hearts. And the reason why she called it Conflicted Hearts is because so the brother, and it was so good. It was so good. It was such a thick, it was a good read. It was a nice long read, but it was so good. It was another book that I could not put down. But what I loved is when you hear men say, like, if you hear women say, you hear men say it, when they know who they want to be with, they show you. Yes. Now, granted, he was married to her sister, her twin sister. And they, so basically the sisters, they had no other family. They had no one. They were raised by their aunt. So they really kind of didn't have family. But the guys had family. They had their mother and things like that. So like I said, they moved in with each other to help each other raise the kids. And like I said, they fell in love. But her heart was conflicted because she's like, this is my sister's husband. What are people going to think of me? So, you had some of your friends was like, they're not here no more. Just do it. Like, if you love him, go be with him. Then you had some friends that's like, I wouldn't do that. That's your sister's husband, blah, blah, blah. It was so much. But to see them fall in love with each other, to see them raise the kids together, it was so beautiful. Oh my God, this book was so good. So yes, definitely pick it up. Conflicted Hearts by Kay Shanae. Number 16.
All right. Well, I'm going to roll into my number 16. And this was a new to me author this year. I've got one more book left, but I listened to her series, the first 3 books of her series on Audible. And of course, narrated by and I'm sorry, I'm gonna back up for a second. Did I say that Butterfly Flow is narrated by the incomparable Nicole Small?
No, you did not.
Okay, yes, it was. Like that whole series is narrated by Nicole Small. Let me back up because I'm wrong for that. Let me give her love and shout out. Cause Nicole do the doggone thing. She
yes.
that she needs to. Nicole Small can do about 30 people. I swear to God, she can do about 30 people voices. I swear she can, and she need all the credit in the world for being able to do that. So okay,
Nicole Small, if you're listening to this, can you slide in the Get Caught Up podcast deal? Because we sure would like for you to be on the show. Like, I'm shooting my shot this year.
Look, I swear by her. I swear by Miss Nicole Small.
You do. You definitely do.
I've been trying to ring her name from mouth to talk to a long time because honey, she is awesome. Okay.
Yes.
Back into my number 16 because it dawned on me. I'm sorry, y'all, to backtrack, but I had to give her love. The name of the book. Let me see if I can do this again. You know how I be acting.
Right there. Oh my gosh, yes.
One Just Love by Dania Marie. It is actually book 2 of her Bennett Affair series.
Yes, I've seen that book. I like the cover.
Yes, and it is so representative of the character. Now, book 2 is basically the whole book is about the Bennett brothers. And book 2 is about the baby brother whose name is Benji. Benji is an NFL player and he has this long, luxurious hair. So that's why the cover represents so well who he is. He actually ends up, he's a playboy. Like, he don't really, get into, he got his thing, but everybody know it. He ends up dating by happenstance his brother's wife's best friend, who was a superstar singer.
Wait a minute, time out. Did you say his other wife?
His brother's wife.
Oh, his brother's wife. I'm about to say, wait a minute.
No, his brother's wife's best friend, Rihanna, who is a superstar singer. And she is also not settled out. So these two people is not settled outside. They is footloose and fancy free, okay? But
wow,
they end up actually dating because they was daring each other in sex. Like, she didn't believe he was all he was cracked up to be. He cracked that back and shoulder that he was, and so they end up getting into this relationship. But what I so love about them is that you think it's like this just story about these wild, free people who come together and they're young. And it's truly a friends to love story. But when I tell you it is jam packed with heartache and heartbreak and just finding your true identity of who you are and learning some secrets and stuff that helps you understand your identity, because
Right.
there's a unexpected twist in Benji's story that impacts their entire family. And it's almost really the basis of how the brothers are the way they are. And but Benji is one of those playboys who he out there playing, but when he settled down, baby, let me tell you something. He settled. Okay.
And
So
see, I've been saying that, so I'm gonna have to add it to my list. See, this is what
yes,
happens.
yes. So Unjust Love, get into it. It is actually book two. So start off with book one, which is about his brother Sean. He is actually a rapper, and it's about his story. I can't remember the female's name, but the story is with his actual best friend, who is a PR manager. And so Sean and his best friend kind of
Did
get.
you read the whole series?
I got book four. No. I think it's five books, and whatever I got the last one because I read the first. What was that? I read the first. Don't quote me. It's either four or five, but I read all of them except for one. So
Got you, got you.
that's the last book in the series is the one that I still have, and I gotta get started on.
All righty. So y'all, we have made it to number 15. Okay. All right. We getting there. We getting there. All right. So my 15, number 15, the name of the book is called A Beautiful Surprise by Robbie Renee. And it was a beautiful surprise. Okay. Now, I love this book because we first met Jameson in Pretty Shattered Heart and Pretty Shattered Soul. He was dating since
Symphony.
not Symphony, and they wasn't dating. They was, hooking up.
Yeah, they were hooking up.
So I was like, I want to know more about him. And then Miss Robbie Renee dropped us a beautiful surprise, and we got to know who Jameson is. Now, Jameson has a best friend, Giselle. She's older than him. They are like great friends. Now, he's always been attracted to her, always had feelings for her, but she was dating someone. She was dating a loser, a sap, a sucker. I could go on, but I'm not, because I probably say some things and they'll be like, yeah, we're not gonna let y'all post this because it'll get worse. So I'm gonna stop. But he was doing things. Now, he was her best friend. He knew what the boyfriend was doing, but he did not tell her. And she kind of got upset with him when she found out. And he said to her, which to me made sense. If I told you what he was doing, who would you really be mad at? You would really be mad at me, not him.
Mm-hmm.
So he never told her. But when she finally decided that she was done with him, the boyfriend was supposedly gone somewhere. So Giselle and Jameson started hooking up. And it was so beautiful. They were so cute together. But she felt like, I can't do Jameson because Jameson is a dog. Jameson is a player. Like, he has a whole bunch of women. But Jameson really loved her. Like, really loved her.
Oh,
So
listen,
to see them get
Jefferson
together,
was a player, honey, man. In
yeah. Well,
Shadow
she
Heart.
tamed him. She tamed him.
Yeah.
He tamed him. But the thing was, he actually was tamed before he even before he even went after her, because he knew that
Mm.
he had to get rid of his ways if he wanted to be with her. So check out A Beautiful Surprise by Robbie Renee, because it was definitely a beautiful surprise.
All right, that is on my list to read too.
Yes.
So I definitely, I'm gonna be tuned in. I got something else to say, but I'm gonna hold on to that when I get to it. But
Yes.
roll on. This is my number 15, so we can get on there. Hold on, let me pull up this good book cover so y'all can see it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Do,
And
do,
my
do.
number 15 is someone who this book was actually one of our book of the month reads, and it was the one of the number one. I had two that tied number one most streamed episode for the Get Caught Up podcast this year, and it is none other than y'all know. Here we go. Here we go. The
Timothy.
Timothy
Let me
by
tell you something.
Alexandra House, and it was narrated by Arindel. I don't want to
I
say this.
can never pronounce her name, but she did. She made the
A
mess out of that.
Ojo. Because
Mm-hmm.
every time I say it, Adarinle. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I think it's at a relay.
Adarinle Ojo and Jacoby DM. Mm.
That book was so good. So good.
That book is so good. I promise you, it is about Van London, and Brooklyn Dembele. Okay, so
And y'all, you know, we wasn't too much a fan of Brooklyn.
we weren't a fan of Brooklyn because y'all know this is what book 3 out of the Romeo U series, and
Mm-hmm.
of course Brooklyn has gone through a divorce from her husband. Van is basically Charlotte older brother. And if y'all know Charlotte, Charlotte was book 1 with Javon Higgs out of the Romeo UC. Yes, Lord. Yeah, okay. So what Charlotte did not know was that when they were in college, Van and Brooklyn had a hookup. Like they hooked up. She didn't know that Van was sneaking on the campus, visiting her bestie, and
They
doing
hooked up a lot, a lot.
look, doing the things, okay, doing the things. And when I tell you one thing that I could tell you about Alexandra House, she gonna bring you comedy,
Yeah,
always a crazy cast of characters. She gonna bring you just high levels of audacity, and
she
of
sure
course
will.
that mind numbing, spine tingling six. So,
Yeah, make you like put a little
Hey,
in it.
put a
Yeah,
little you put a little in it. Like,
yep.
so yes, honey. That's exactly what it brings. It is actually, I think, temper mean. Um, a crazy part about it, what I love about Alex House is that she has a way of bringing these kind of unconventional characters. So
Yes.
as she said on our podcast, she done made people fall in love with a one-eyed man. Van had an eye disease that caused him to lose his eye. Although he had
Hmm.
a prosthetic eye, he did have a prosthetic eye, and I know it. Look, for some reason they probably like what, but you gotta read it. Like you, once you get it,
Yeah, that book was so good. It definitely was. It definitely was.
so yes, that is Temper Me by Alexandria House, narrated by Arid A Ojo, because I'm not gonna tell this lady's name up. I think I got it the first time. I hope y'all just go look, just rewind the tape, just slide the bar back so y'all can hear how I pronounced it the first time. And Jacoby DM, of course, Jacoby.
I love Jacoby. I love him. He might have to he will probably have to put a restraining order against me
Oh
because
my God, he wouldn't, cause
he
Jacoby he love the people, he love the ladies. Okay, not in that way. Don't let me put that like he a ladies man, but he actually he is very respectful of black women. He has a just as beautiful affection for all things black. Like he really there for us and the indie authors. Like he is the goat. Okay.
he definitely is. He definitely is, and I'm so glad I got to listen to him, and I continuously listen to him.
Listen, on this on the DM's second anniversary, I got a chance to talk to him and hear him say my name.
That
Live.
was so nice that they did that. Like I was on there for a while too until I got hungry and needed to eat. But it was definitely great to sit there and listen to him talk, see a little bit of his hand with a cigar, see a little bit of his salt and pepper. So it definitely was nice. It definitely was nice.
He and look,
Okay.
and he and I had something in common with the whole the pastoral parents thing. So
Oh, yep, yep. I forgot all about that.
so listen,
Yes, that's what I'm
if
talking
y'all
about.
want to know more about Jacoby though, join DM's Diamonds on Facebook.
Yes, because they definitely do a lot, like celebrating him coming in, meeting with people and talking to him, answering questions. I love it. Yes, definitely. If you're not following DM Diamonds, go follow DM Diamonds.
All of DM Diamonds because they support strong. That's a
They
strong.
definitely do.
It's
They
a strong.
definitely do. Yeah, I'm gonna slide in their DM so I can talk to them, see if we can get him on the show too. Because I'm gonna slide in somebody DM in a minute.
Listen, and don't worry about it. I slide in his.
Slide in his DM. Go slide. Yes, go for it.
That's how it is. Look,
Go for it.
we can attack it from both ends. It's good.
There we go. We got it. All right. Number 14. Okay, so this author, I love to death. This author has given me just so much. Like, I'd be like, oh, I want to do this. And she's like, go for it. Oh, I want to do that. She's like, go for it. She's like, here, join me on this, join me on that. You know, here's my book. Read it for me. Tell me. And just love it. Now, this author, well, let's go with the book name. And the book is Never Again, No More, Karma's Payback by Miss Untamed herself. Okay. This is book number 6 in this Never Again No More series. And let me tell you something, y'all. If y'all have not read this series, y'all want to talk about some little, what we were called back then, baby mama drama. This book deliver the drama, okay? So book 6 was basically the end of the series. And I was just like reading this book and was like, I would get mad, I would get happy, then I want to fight. Like, she be having your emotions all over the place. All over the place. And this was a perfect, there it is. This was a perfect ending to the series. So we found out what happened with Trinity, with Charisse, with Jesus Christ. Why can't I remember the other girls' names?
Lucinda and Lamika.
Lucinda and Lamika. Lamika was my favorite. So Lamika got her happily ever after finally, because there was some drama with that. There was some serious drama with that. She finally got her happily ever after. Charisse finally grew up. Mm-hmm. She finally grew up, and I'm kind of like, you know, because Sifta Reed feel that she don't deserve Lincoln, but I didn't, and then I did, and then I didn't. And then I'm like, I kind of want them together, but I'm glad Charisse finally grew up. So hopefully Charisse is still on her grown woman shit and not on that little girl shit, because she was a petty broad. She was petty.
She was
so petty. Like, if I was her friend, I probably would have smacked her a couple of times, like a backhand slap and then a lick your hand and smack, because she needed those. Because she played games.
Listen, let me tell you something. But I gotta get. I listen now. One thing I will say for sure, in her defense, in Charisse's defense, Ryan kind of made her petty because she was trying to be grown for a long time, and then that man just look. She should have let him go because she would have probably stayed on the right path, but because she tried to embrace him, she just would. She turned.
I don't think so. Let me tell you something. I tell people all the time: if you petty. If you go from a little petty to big petty, bitch, you was already petty. You just try to use somebody to let your real pettiness come out.
Look, so she said, so right. So she said, we're not gonna blame this on Ryan. It was just her.
Yes. Now, when I first started reading the series, I felt Lucinda was the grownest, was the most put together. But by the time we got to the end, Lucinda needed some freaking help too.
She did.
She needed a lot of help, but I'm glad that you grew her up. Now, hopefully she's still on her grown woman shit, because, you know, I'm all for, you know, giving people second chances. If that's who you really love, that's who you're supposed to be with, go be with them. But some of the things that she did was uncalled for. She was another one that needed a backhand slap. So Lamika was the best. Lamika definitely was the best. Trinity. Okay. I'm going to just say, go read the whole series. This is my number 14 book, Never Again No More, Karma's Payback. And then I'm going to have to say this. I just finished reading One Wish by Miss Untamed.
Oh.
And it was with Alana, who is Trinity and Terrence's youngest, but she's like, you know, I don't want to tell a story. Let me tell you something, Untamed. You ain't right. Okay, I'm like I said when I said I was gonna get here and put her on the spot on this camera. You are not right. How dare you break up Dean and Alana? How dare you? Like, it's Dean. First of all, when the Trey came in and then he was like, the way he was talking, I was like, who is this simp? You know, like, who is this simp? And she was like, no, no, no. But then when you described Dean, let me tell y'all, I'm from the DMV. He ain't from the DMV. But when we see men in a sweatsuit and a trench coat and some Jordans, we doing double takes. And I said, oh, this little boy gonna get it. Cause I mean, a man in a sweatsuit and a trench and some J's is sexy.
Look, and he got it too. He got it too.
He got it too, under the mom and daddy roof. Why the mom and daddy home? Ho, ho, ho. You know what I'm saying? But I said no. So I don't know what you're gonna do to get them back together. But and then when he said the second mentor name, I said, she ain't right. She ain't right. You are so not right.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. My bad.
So now are you gonna go back? Because I could have sworn Virgil went out of the country. So how did he end up in Florida?
He's not in Florida. He's still out of the country. So yeah, that story will be told about what happened. Let's just say that
Just to say she ain't right.
I ain't right. Let's
she ain't right.
That went the best thing that Virgil, aka Pooch Smalls, ever did was leave the country. Because now bruh,
she ain't right. I said, the book was so good. One Wish was so good. It was so cute because Alana did not know how to express her feelings. So Dean was like, I'm done. So she go home, she's moping. Her ex come around and she was like, dude, you dogged me on campus. It was so bad I had to leave the school. And then you want to ask for another chance? She was like, nah, son, nah. All she wanted was her man. And her man showed up and man showed up, showed out. Everything. Yes. But that ending, I said, oh, I'm going to talk to her on this show today. You know you was wrong for that one. No.
Listen, One Wish is a Christmas short. It's not even a novella. It's a Christmas short. Literally, yes. I think it's 45 pages.
Yes.
That's it. It is based off it's a spinoff of the Never Get No More series about basically, as TK said, the nieces and nephews of the Never Get No More series. They have grown up, and so it's focused on Trinity and Terrence's.
I love that they are still so happily in love with each other, still happily married. Yeah. It was beautiful to see that. But yeah, y'all, I was like, she ain't right. Like, I love Mr. Dean Bishop, but then when he said that name, I said, wait a minute, that name sounds familiar. I said, oh, she ain't right.
So yeah. So it's the book. Okay, so basically Dean and Elena will have their own series called The Cost of Loyalty. Actually, I say series. It's 2 books right now. I'm hopefully to try to leave it at 2. I mean, it might be 3, but it won't be any more than 3. But definitely, The Cost of Loyalty is their story, and it is based. These characters come from the Never Again No More series, but it's their children. So you'll see
if they don't end up together, I'm not reading it. Look, if they don't end up together, I'm not reading it. Look, how dare I tell you that? But that's what I'm saying.
Look, she like, you better go back and pin them together.
Put them together. I don't care. I was like, they got to sneak around. She got to lie. Like, I don't care. Maybe he's got to bury Terrence. I don't care. I don't know. But got to get rid of the daddy. Got to get rid of the daddy. I just thought that it was beautiful. Like, oh, and I have so many questions I'm not asking because I hope this question is answered. Do Trinity knows, right? Oh, you ain't right.
It's the reason he said what he said when he told that young man what he told that young man.
Okay. I'm ready for the series to drop now because I need questions answered.
You need questions answered. Okay, so
Mhm. Yes. So yes. All right. We're not going to talk about this no more because then we'll be sitting here all day and won't even go over the rest of them. So let's see.
I,
Ooh, what you got for number 14?
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That was a surprise to me, y'all. She didn't tell me what her list was, so that was a surprise to me. Thank you.
She knows some of my books on my list, but no. Yeah, I'm like, you literally wrapped up them so well. Like I had, because like I said, I wasn't fans of definitely Sharice. I wasn't a fan. I literally get you guys only like Lamika. That was it.
She said that was it. That's it. That's
That
all.
was it. So it took a lot for her to grow them other characters on me, and she did. I'm still not a fan of Sharice though. That petty broad.
Listen, but okay, well, y'all read the series, so y'all let me know. Look, let me know who y'all favorite lady is out of that series. So
it won't be Sharice.
It won't be Sharice.
If y'all like Sharice, y'all some petty MFers. Because that chick.
I be fighting for my little characters, and even though they got on my nerves, I be fighting for. I be trying to make everybody like them. It's okay.
Yeah, nah, that broad. Woo, she took the cake.
She grew up. We can agree on that.
But, yeah, she did grow up.
So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that she did grow on y'all. So
yes.
My number 14 is also another. Now I promise y'all, this I don't know how this worked out, but it ended up being that a lot of people who was booking above ended up making my list. So it wasn't.
It was good books. We picked some good ones.
They was really good books, and so this ended up being our second most streamed book of the month episode, and I'm talking about none other than The Marriage Contract by Shay Davis.
She made my list too. She made my list too.
She is my number 14. And y'all, listen.
That MF is so Matthias. Jesus Christ.
This was narrated by the Queen Wesley and another great king who I hope comes out of retirement like real soon. They say he was not retirement, but he was on like a hiatus or a break. Emmanuel Ingram. Like he was on taking a break. I hope he done came back from this break because we need his voice.
Emmanuel, I didn't know that.
Like yeah, they said he was taking a break, so I need him to come back.
Please come back.
Emmanuel's voice is so beautiful, and I love.
Oh my gosh,
baby girl! Look, it's something to hear Emmanuel say the words "baby girl." Like I'm gonna write a book and make the girl's nickname "baby girl" just so I can have Emmanuel narrate it.
I love to hear him say that. I like literally. I was like, now I got to listen to it. So when I hear it, I'm just like, but yeah, I listened to this book. I listened. This book is on my list too.
I listened to this book, of course. It is about basically one solo birthday celebration night leads Alexa to walk on the wild side and get married to baseball's bad boy, Soul Matthias. Okay. She ends up hitched to Soul Matthias. Like she don't even know it's that she was drunk. He was drunk, but
you know what they say, drunk minds is a sober heart.
That's right. So listen, they get into this contract and it is an amazing story. I love this story. I love the angle of it being from a baseball player because I love these sports themed type of reads. We get to learn more about these lifestyles and these journeys, that these men take. But listen, let me tell you something about Soul Matthias. Lord have mercy. He was baseball's bad boy and baseball's playboy, but Alexa tames him on day one. Period.
Day one. He was hooked. He remembered everything. She didn't.
He remembered everything. So I ain't gonna talk too much because I know Krista gonna talk about. So I don't know if she's gonna talk about this book, but she might talk about something with Shay Davis. But listen, make sure.
This one made it. This one made it.
Okay, so make sure you definitely grab The Marriage Contract. I promise you, it is another. It's not a long read.
No.
It's really short. I think the audio book is like 4 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours. But when I tell you it's 4 or 5 hours of goodness, I promise you.
It definitely was. It definitely was.
Still don't like that girl's sister. I don't care what we talked about this on the show, so go back and listen on the show. But I still like
Yeah.
the Candy
But
King.
the funny thing about it, and I think, did I say it on the show? Because, I always like to have people, like your sub characters. Sometimes I'm like, oh, would you write a book about them? I don't even want a book about that bitch. She was nasty.
She was nasty. Candy
She
was
was
nasty.
nasty. And that's your sister. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know. I guess because one, I have a half sister. We didn't grow up together. So, we did when we was a little, like when we were younger, but when my parents divorced, we didn't see each other anymore. So I've actually ran into her as we are, adults, and we see each other. But being around Nikki and Sarita and their sisterhood is like, I want a sister, because them two sisters, good gosh, they ride for each other, like for real, for real.
Mhm.
They some strong sisters, and I love to see it.
Yeah.
So it's like, to read that book and she's that nasty towards her sister just baffled me, and I was like, F that B, I don't want to read nothing about her.
I know that's
Nothing.
yeah.
Nothing.
On that. I'm with you on that. I don't even want to set the story about Candy. I look, because even her reasoning behind the stuff she did, it is like it ain't even strong enough for me. She just a nasty
Right.
broad. She just a nasty broad.
And then the thing that kind of blew me the most too is like her mother didn't step in and say anything. And I kind of, is like, oh, because then that's causing a rift between. No, it shouldn't be like that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
your mother. The reason for why you don't like her is stupid. Grow up and get over
Exactly. Period.
it. Period. Yes. All righty. So we're on number 13. Now, this author, she's like, I'm become such a fan of her, and anything she puts out, I'm reading. That's actually, I'm gonna take that back. That's like that for every author on my list. So I'm not even gonna say that. But yeah, it's like I have authors where if I see them putting out something, I don't need to know what the book is about. I'm just one click. Okay. So this year, Kayla Shawn, number 13, To Be Loved. When I say I loved this book so much. So this was about Remy and actually, let me get the guy's name. It begins with the L. I can't do it, so I have to make sure I say the name. But To Be Loved by Kayla Shawn is my number 13 book. Now, Remy, we was introduced into in this moment, and I wanted to know more about her because she was not a nice, I'm not gonna say she wasn't a nice person, she just wasn't a talkative person, she wasn't a friendly person. I'm like, oh, what is her story? And we got to find out her story, and her story devastated me. Devastated me. But she fell in love with her bodyguard. Now, the thing that I liked about this, she had Lathan. Lathan, no, wait a minute. Let me see if I can find his name, because it's not. Yes, it is. I said it right. His name is Lathan. So Lathan was Remy's bodyguard.
Okay.
And he actually liked her, and he would, just do anything she asked him to do. But eventually she started warming up to him, and to see her like, this book was literally about her to me. You know what I'm saying? It had I love the love story between them, how their love grew for each other. But to me, it was about her, because to see somebody go from being in her shell to where she didn't trust a lot of people, she only had certain people in her space, to be able to open up and fall in love and battle her biggest demon. I was like so for it. So this book does have sexual assault, child sexual abuse and assault. And the way that Kayla Shawn gave us Remy, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Because like I said, she went from this, like I would say she went from a closed tight fist to like just a big open hand, and she just saw the world. Like I said, she fell in love. Lathan has an older daughter. He was locked up, and he's come back into his daughter life, and so she became a part of his daughter life. Not even that, she even helped his daughter mother, because she was going through things and she was struggling. So she was just this beautiful person, but I felt like probably she needed somebody to bring it out of her. And I loved this story too so much. So To Be Loved by Kayla Shawn is an excellent read. Excellent.
Ooh, congratulations, Kayla Sean.
Yes, congratulations, because you out here killing the game. That's all I'm gonna say. She out here killing the game.
I have to put it on my list. So, but look, the next one, of course, is another Audible read. I actually got this one on Book Funnel, but listen, this one here, she has become so near and dear to my heart. Like I really love her
Ooh.
pieces, and but she be out here just killing the game with these books, and so she has
Hmm.
been in a chokehold for the last couple of years, and she's still look, and she's still killing the game with this one, and it is none other than
Oh,
Thomas
you know we love us some Aubrey Penn. You know we
Home,
love us some Aubrey Penn. You
Home,
right. She killing the game.
Homecoming Season by Aubrey Penn, which is narrated by the Queen Wesley and Winston James, who is another dynamic audio book narrator who he's been out for a minute, but this year, honey, I don't know what it is. He has really been picked up by some black romance authors, and he been doing the thing this year.
Yes,
Okay,
he definitely has. I have read some, listened to some things by him, and I'm a fan.
listen, so whew, this was a power punch novella. And Aubrey got everything going on. Look, she got love, she got lust, she got envy, she got vengeance, she got revenge. Listen, Imaya and Tony, they
Mm.
couple. They are the it couple. They went. This is they were. Listen, basically, they go back for homecoming. Y'all know how HBCU homecomings are.
Yes.
Star athlete, and so they were all friends, and she's like this high profile news sports anchor and stuff, and she's going through some backstabbing on her job that she don't even know what's going on when she go to homecoming, and so she ends up, basically finally hooking up with Tony, who everybody, like the whole friend crew, knew that they was gonna be together. But
Right.
it happens and occurs over homecoming weekend. And basically, yeah, it got set up and some stuff got put out there that she wouldn't want the world to see. But if she think that Tony is like not there for her, so like, oh my God, it's so much that's going on, so much betrayal, so much look, these people are here, they just nasty. But it's okay. Tony gonna come through for his girl, trust me. And look, her male friends, and this is the thing, and I can relate to Maya because I had coming up, I had more male friends than female friends. And I
Right.
got female friends now, but I was raised around a lot of boys. So that's
Hmm.
I just kind of related to boys more than females because I was raised around a lot of boys.
Right.
That's look. That's why I got a little in me from these men folk. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I was like Imaya. I was a home girl. But listen, her homeboys, homeboys
They
came.
came through.
They came through. Homeboys came through. They came.
Good.
What you're not gonna do is mess with a home girl. You ain't gonna mess with a homie. Okay,
Hmm.
gonna come through. So they came through with the quickness and the swiftness. All right, listen,
Good.
all of that professional, that good black excellence came back to their black hoodishness. Okay,
There
so
we go. That's what
and
we
then they
want.
stepped back into their black excellence. All right,
There
so
we go.
pick up homecoming season. It is a great book. It is also like if you love HBCUs, listen, you get that, and you also get that in Temper Me too. So, but she really dives into HBCU homecoming weekend style into this book. I loved everything about it. Pick it up. It's Homecoming Season by Aubrey Penn. That is my number 13 book of the year.
Yes, I gotta like she has a lot of books on my shelf and I gotta get into the Gatton Hill series, like for real. For real, for real. Gotta
Seriously.
get into it.
Seriously, and yeah, I am reading A Christmas Creed right now, which is a series of short stories by Aubrey. So that is my next read that I
Yeah.
got going on with her. So, and this covers like her different characters, her Ganton Hills characters. So yes, please
Which
get
is
it.
a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is definitely a good thing. Alrighty. So my number 12 book is by Miss Bailey West. I
Oh,
was waiting for this story, like, could not wait for this story. And it's Epiphany. Oh my gosh. Y'all,
mm,
this book was so daggone good. Okay. So
mm,
Epiphany was about Pastor Israel Lewis is and Leona all day. So Leona and is basically one of Leona's brothers friends. Like, they were real good friends. So she kind of grew up around him, and growing up around him, she had a crush on him.
mm.
So then one, like, as they became adults, one summer, I'm not even gonna say summer, but like maybe about a month, Israel and Leona had like a little fling, but it ended because a secret came out and she was unhappy about it. But the thing about it was, he never lied to her. He was going through a divorce, but
Mm.
he was already divorced when he started messing with her. But it came out later in the news as if he was going through a divorce. So she thought that she was messing with a married man. So
Oh,
we're going to come some years later. They see each other again because Israel is christening Man from the Loving Man, the son from the Loving Man. They run into each other again, but not even that. He's moving into where Leona lives at now. He's about to be the pastor of the new church. Yes.
okay.
So they, yes, come on through, pastor. So he basically was like, I want her back. She's going to be my woman. She's going to be my wife. And to see them get back together again and fall in love again, it was so beautiful. But I definitely was waiting for this story. Miss Bailey West did not disappoint me, and I wanted more. Like, I want to go live in this town. Okay, like, I
Oh,
really want to go live there. So I don't know what book is coming next, but it's called Epiphany, and this is the Metamorphosis series, book one, by Bailey West. And she was my number 12. But if you did not read this story and wanted to read it, go read it. It was so good. It was so, so good.
all right. Congratulations,
Yes.
Miss Bailey.
Yes. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna roll into my number 12. My number 12 was something that I was intentional about because it was Pride Month and I wanted to read, a book along the line for our LGBTQ community. So it is actually, hold on, let me get it in here. That is, it
Oh,
is Chris and
yay.
Devon, or sorry, Devon and Chris Plan a Wedding.
Devon and Chris. Yep.
Chris Plan a Wedding by Shanicia C. Higgins. And listen, y'all. Hold on, I gotta get the narrator. So let me tell you who narrated this. This was narrated by Rebecca Lee. And Lee did a
Mm.
very good job. So listen, I was highly impressed with her narrating skills. Okay, so what I love about this story, I love stories that give you like a different perspective, something cool and new. So I actually said to her in her review that the only thing that I would have changed about this book, in my opinion, is the fact that the book name of the book I would have said was called Instant I Do. Because let me tell you something. Shanicia actually created this book based off as if it was a reality TV show.
I
And
like that.
yes, so the name of the reality TV show was called Instant I Do. And basically, you had all of these couples who were basically a part of the LGBTQ community. Well, they weren't couples, they were singles, a part of the LGBTQ community. And the premise of the show was they basically took the profiles of all of these people who they selected to be on the show and
Hmm.
decided who they would pair together to see
Oh,
if
ooh,
these
okay.
could work out. And at the end of it, if they chose to be together, they could get married or they could separate and take their money. But they had to convince everybody who they were around that they were going to get married, that they had fallen in love and they were going to get married. And if you were able to make it to the end without breaking up or without being, caught by your family, your friends, then you would be the last couple standing and you would decide whether or not you were going to actually say I do for real, or if you was gonna take your little prize money and go your separate ways. It's a beautiful story. What I love the most about it, it covered different perspectives because the focus was on Devon and Chris. Um, like Chris was, I think Chris was the stud type, the stud type, and
Mhm.
Devon wasn't. But the thing of it was, it covered the different perspective of a family who knew a person was openly gay and they embraced her versus a family who didn't know they were religious and how they had to deal with that. It covered that and it really went into depths about that and even the acceptance of themselves and things that they had to learn how to let go, how to be a couple, how to trust each other. Like it was such a cute read. And I just absolutely love Devon and Chris together. You hear me? Like
Ooh, I
it
have
was
to read that.
you do because actually it was another female that was in the mix she had an infatuation for Devon and Chris was
One of yeah,
the two
she wanted to tussle.
she was
I
like,
got you. Yeah, look, let me. My to be read again gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. I already know.
my number 12, I absolutely love it. Shanice, you did a beautiful job. It was an original, like unique story. I loved it. I love that entire story and the way it was set up with this reality TV show.
Oh shucks now. All right,
It,
y'all, we getting down there. We getting down there. All right, so my number 11. This author came on the scene this year and she played no games, none whatsoever. I have read every book. I have to read her last two books, but Miss A.E. Valdez,
yes.
Colliding with Fate.
Oh yes.
I cried. I laughed. I cried some more. This book was so good. It did not make any sense. Like so good. So, this is about Kyrell and oh Jesus, her name begins with a Q. Why can't I remember her name? I'm terrible. Like, oh my gosh. Quinn. Sorry. Yeah, Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically they're both in California. Quinn moved to California to start a new job. And when she moved, she needed someone to help her move into her new place. So, she reached out to Harlow. Harlow is in the first book. We met Quinn and Kyrell in the very first book, all I ever wanted, all I ever needed.
Mm-hmm.
And Quinn and Kyrell are best friends of Harlow. So Kyrell helps Quinn move. They decided starting out having friends with benefits and they started spending so much time together. It became more, but Kyrell was just battling past hurts. And so at one point in time, they broke up. And I was like, how is she going to get them back together? I was like stunned. I did not know how she was going to do this. And the way she did it was definitely fate. So, like I said, I cried. So there was some talk of childhood abuse in this book. I wanted to put my hands around the one he called mother neck and just squeeze.
Mm.
Because the thing she did to a child, you were
Mm.
jealous of a child, was
Mm.
ridiculous. But the
Wow.
things that Kyrell went through when he was younger, he could have been such an angry person and he wasn't. I mean, A.E. Valdez wrote that book so beautiful. Kai was a beautiful soul. Like I loved him. I loved him in the first book, but then just to get to know his story, I loved him so much more. This book was so good. So Colliding with Fate, A.E. Valdez was my number 11.
And she actually was on the show twice this year. She
Yeah.
interviewed her about that book and then the book All I Ever Wanted, All I Ever Needed. And All I Ever Wanted, All I Ever Needed interview was actually our number one most streamed author interview of the year. So check it out. She is a phenomenal person, a great author. So check out both of her interviews about Colliding with Fate and All I Ever Wanted, and then also pick up those books. She is a like I just love it. And I love her TikToks and her Instagram reels. She's so
Yes.
amazing. So check her out. Please. And again, that is Colliding with Faith by A.E. Valdez. Awesome, lady.
Look,
Awesome.
I'm trying to move because my phone is about to die. Yes.
Look, you gotta charge your phone up.
Yep. Look, I'm putting it on here. Okay.
So, ooh, y'all, look, let me get to my next one. My number 11. My number 11. I look. We hold up. We gotta take a pause. Let Krista get set up because her phone about to die, y'all.
This is terrible. I looked, I said it went from 50 to like 20%.
Ooh, oh yeah, definitely. Ooh, child.
Yeah, it's like how? How, Sway? How?
That battery is draining, honey.
Yes. So I'm about to say, don't fall off now. Okay. All right.
All
I'm
right.
back.
She back. She back. So listen, our number 11. No, I say our number 11. My number 11 was a book that actually came out in 2020, but the audio book didn't release until 2022. And I'm just mad ain't nobody told me nothing in 2020 about this doggone book because it would have made the list in 2020 back when I was still reading doggone ebooks and paperbacks and stuff like that. So I would have read this. It's a short. When I tell y'all this is a lunchtime read, it's a one. It's like I think it's a little over an hour. It's a lunchtime read, but when I tell you it's an hour of wholesome goodness and salaciousness,
Ooh. Ooh, what is it? What is it?
I'm talking about none other than I'm getting good with it. 8 by Rise.
Yes, that
Let me
book
tell
right there. I haven't listened to the audio yet, but I did read it, and you're right. And it was
you-
shot. It was in the DMV.
yes. Let me tell you something. First of all, even if I had read this in 2020, to listen to the audio book was a whole ass experience. You hear me?
Really? Now I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah. Jay, it was narrated by she's newer, but she did her thing in this book. And I think this would put Winston on on point because Jay Shanae Michaels and Jason, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. It may be Shani, but I'm gonna say Shani. Jay Shani Michaels and Winston James narrated this book.
Mm-hmm.
Child, it hit Risley. If you ain't do nothing for the rest of your days, baby, you did the thing when you selected them too. Because when I tell y'all, they narrated the literal out of that book.
Oh, I gotta listen to it now because, like
Listen,
I said, I read it, but I did
it's
not do the
the
audible
best.
yet.
It's the best hour of your damn day. When I tell you this,
Mm.
Tempest,
Mm.
Tempest, and Russ. With that many S's on the end, the title is exactly what this book is about. These characters are cooking and partaking in the most delicious feast.
Yes.
And look, and desserts.
Hmm.
Girl, let me tell you,
Hmm.
this book had me over here melting like hot butter in a skillet. Do you hear me?
And see, that's the thing. It's like you read books and you be like, oh, I want to hear them. I want to hear how they're going to say this. I want to hear how they're going to say that. So yeah, I can, now I'm going to go ahead and make that a quick lunch read. I'm definitely going to do that.
8 by Risley Adams. Baby, you
She
did.
ate.
She ate. And I think now I got it when it was on Chirp, but I think now it's on Audible in different places. But I want to say, like, when I got it, it was only 99 cents on Chirp.
Oh, it
So,
sure was.
and so when I tell y'all, it is literally 1 hour. You can listen to it on your lunch break. I don't recommend it unless you plan on taking the rest of the day off and going to find your boo. And I'm serious
Well,
on
look, even though I work from home, I'm glad you said that.
I'm serious on it. If you ain't got a boo, you better find something. Cause by the time you finish with this
Better
one,
open that drawer.
yeah, but trust the dusty. You better
I felt like that reading it, so I can imagine what the audible is going to be like that. Because I felt like that reading it. I was like, "Oh, honey, this hot."
this is, and if you, it's one of them because it's only an hour and it's so good. You will read it again. You will listen. You will listen to it again and again
Mm. And again,
and again.
All right.
It is worthy every time.
All right. So now we're at our top 10. Let's do this.
Let's
Okay.
do
All right. So my number 10, y'all, this book right here was hot as hell too. Tempted by Danger by India Carter. I
Yes.
always say India because I just think that's so beautiful, but it's India. But it was so good. Like I loved this book so much. And I loved it because I just loved it. Everything about the book from the beginning to the ending. You know, you got Diamond Danger and you got Lord Jesus. Why can't I think of that crazy child name? Because Quincy. She was a hoot for real. Like a hoot. And it was like nothing about her that you would not love, that you could not love about her. And I like the fact that she finally took that leap of faith and left Florida because she was like, she always wanted to go to New York and live and experience it. So she did. She got a job opportunity. She put him in place. He fell in love. They fell in love. It was just so beautiful to read, to watch. And of course, you always got your haters, and there were some haters, and I'm glad they put them in their place. But Tempted by Danger, my number 10 read, was definitely a good read. And I think it's on audio now. So I need to
Confirm.
definitely get, yeah, I think it's on audio now. Yep, it is. So I need to go ahead and listen to it. You'll like it. Yes, it's on Audible.
Yes, yes, I love that. So
Yeah.
listen, my number 10 read. When I said earlier about something came on the list, when I talk about someone slid in, it was a couple on here. Because I even got to the other one yet. Slid on here in the last minute. Because Crystal, no, I done had this top 20 list going since like October, right?
Yep, since October.
Basically, it's been filled out since October. If God dog it in December, in the December,
This December.
if this book did come and slide on, and then it didn't just come on and make an interest, it came on and start kicking through doors because it's the number 10. And
Oh, I want to hit right. Yeah. I
number 10,
can't. Ooh, what's
now
this?
this book has been written for a while, but it just released this year on audiobook. And so um I actually listened to this book after, because it came out after we interviewed this young lady. And I'm gonna tell you who it is because baby, we told her, let us know when it dropped. And she sure let me know when it dropped.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna
And
say.
she blessed me. Look, she actually blessed me with this. So and I'm already a fan anyway. So I was like, baby, let me go ahead on and listen. And I'm glad I did. I am talking about none other than In His Corner by
Oh,
Alexandra
really? Oh my God, because
Warren.
yes, I got it too. So now, okay, let me hear what you got to say. Because Alexandra Warren is bomb, y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all, but she is bomb.
And here we go again. Narrated by Wesley and Winston. Winston was doing his thing. This show
He was
kind of
doing this thing I see.
Winston was doing his thing. So In His Corner is about let me go ahead and get the note over here. And I cannot believe Bella Stevenson and Princeton the Prince Lattimore. And if
Mm,
there's ever a couple that you will stand for, it is the Prince and Bella. Do you hear me? Girl,
I like that.
girl, let me tell you something. I stand for them as a couple. Princeton was a boxer and she was a journalist. And they met because she used to do like pop culture pieces and stuff like that. But her actual editor assigned her to go to a boxing match and cover the boxing match. But because she writes more from a perspective of people versus the sport, because she didn't know anything about the sport, she actually ended up doing this great piece. But she went, after the fight and she met him, and you could tell off jump. Soon as he laid eyes on Bella, it was like, he stayed professional. But baby, let me tell you something.
Mm.
He let it be known every step of the way how he felt about his good Bella. Now, of course, they face some adversity, and what I love and this was a lesson. Like, I really want young girls to listen to this one, because something really happened. He dealt with a whole lot of childhood trauma, from his dad, who was actually his boxing coach, and he allowed something that came out, and he took it out on Bella, and Bella was basically like, okay, well, you don't get to take that out on me, and she walked away.
Right.
But when he came back to her, he came correct, but she was like, nah, even though I love you, you gotta prove it to me, because
Mm,
you gotta prove it to me that we're not gonna go through this. Because what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna be your punch bag emotionally
right.
and all of this stuff. You got to deal with the stuff that's going on with your life, and then we'll see. Baby, I'm so glad she put her foot down with him in that moment, because oftentimes as women we'll sit here, because we in love, we'll go
Right.
back and we'll deal with the trauma. And guys, sometimes they unintentionally, and that's any person, if they don't
Hmm.
feel like you're making them prove it and work for it and trying to actually change, they'll continue to take advantage of it. And she forced him to do that. And he faced it. He did what he said he was gonna do. And when I say he did what he said he was gonna do, he did it time 10. You hear me? Um,
Mm.
so but Princeton was a trip. Let me tell you, let me tell you something. Princeton, the way this dude was, oh man, I lost her. Let's see if she re-enters the studio. I lost my crystal, you guys, but it's okay. We're gonna see if she re-enters into the studio. Here she comes.
How did I just drop out of like that?
I have no idea. I was telling her, I said, we lost Crystal, but she got to re-enter the studio. So let's see. So yeah, you back.
Oh,
You
yeah, it just dropped out and then it pulled right back up. That's so weird.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, you
I'm
back.
back. Sorry.
I'm back. But girl, listen, Princeton, let me tell you something. He had some one-liners for your ass, and it was so funny. I was sniggling and giggling at him, because when I tell you, his wordplay was something serious. You hear me? He
See,
look,
I can't wait to get into it.
he told that girl, it's a hold on, I gotta go find this one line. He told her, hold on, y'all gotta bear with me, because listen, I got to share this one line that he said to her. I promise y'all I do. Like, it like, took me so bad. But he told a girl when they was in the lawn, he said, Bella. And they was at his house, he said, I'm about 5 seconds off of, he said, off of fucking you in this front lawn if you don't get in this house. Listen to me. That ain't even what I want to say. I gotta tell y'all, listen. Now I'm gonna let y'all experience. I want to say it, but anyway, basically, the comment said something about his his seed was swimming around in his nuts.
And but you want to know what? Alexandra writes great fun. Like, I like the fact that our authors have great sense of humors, that we get this the funny side of them seeing things, because sometimes, like, when you're reading stuff, like, you just die laughing. I can bust out laughing, all of that.
I'm sorry, look, I gotta share it with you. It just came. Look, I found it. And it just came to me. He said, he said that he was trying to give Bella a baby. He said that little PJ, because his name was Princeton, so PJ, okay, like PJ. He said PJ was going
Right.
to warm ups in his nuts.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to get into it. I cannot wait to get into it.
Princeton, I'm gonna tell y'all something. His one-liners will have you rolling. He was
I like that.
nasty.
I like that.
He was so nasty. So y'all get into it. That was my number 10. So I listen, Alexandra, you did the damn thing on that. You
I
came in.
said I needed to go back through her catalog, because when I was doing her show, her episode of the book, the spotlight on her, I was like, oh, her catalog is extensive. Not even that. She got some great books in her catalog. So I'm definitely going to be going back through her
She
catalog.
do, and like I said, I just read. Listen, look. I keep saying read. Listen, basically, that's my read. Is to listen. Okay,
Yeah.
I just listened to this book in December, and it's top. It's number 10. If that tell you anything, if that
Right. Definitely. All
tell, okay.
right. So my number 9 book, I'm going to have 3 books on here that are series. Okay. That are series. So my number 9 book, I'm sorry, I guess people don't realize if I don't answer the phone to stop calling me, but they're gonna keep on calling. Okay, so my number 9 book is, like she's still putting books out, and I have read the very first 6, so I'm kind of still behind, but this had to go on my list, and it's the Barat Family series by Monica Walters.
Yes.
I love that family. Like, love that family. Like, I'm invested in that family. Like, I want to be a friend in that family. All of the brothers are taken, so I can't marry into the family. The dad is even taken. But that series is so good. Like, you get in family, you get in them all falling in love. And it started with the dad because the dead mom died, and for 20 years he was by himself just raising the kids, and he met one of his son's best friend's mother, and he was smitten. So to see him fall in love, and then his daughter falls in love, and then all his sons fall in love, like that series is so good. And it's like so much stuff going on. Like, they ride for each other, they take up for each other, then the women that come into the family, they take up for them, and then the man that comes into the family, then you get all these other families brought into this one family. Like, I'm so big on that because that's how I grew up. You get married, then all the family come around, like their side of the family, your side of the family. So just that big family dynamic, I loved it. I love this series. And she just dropped the 9th book in the series. So I'm kind of excited. But yes, she made my list from the ones that I have read. So if you have not got into the Barat Family series yet, do yourself a favor and pick it up. And it's by Ms. Monica Walters.
I love me some Monica. I have not gotten into the Barat Family series. So what I'm gonna need for you to do is drop me whatever the book's titles
I got you. Because
are.
it's like I said,
Monica
I
out here
love that
wrote
series.
1,000 books. Okay, she don't wrote 1,000 books. I know she ain't really wrote 1,000, but it feel like it. Okay,
She
and
almost there. She almost there because
if
Miss
she ain't
Monica Walters don't be playing.
Monica drop a book every 30 days. You hear me? I swear to
Yep.
God, I don't see
Yep.
her. I'm trying to, like, I just want to sit in her feet and understand when she got the time and how she got time to write it all. But I
But she do it.
like she drops a book every 30 days. That's why I say I think she got 1,000 books at this point. Uh, so,
I think she in the 70s. I think she's like almost in her 80s.
yeah, like seriously, she got a catalog.
She
So
killing the game. Yeah, she definitely do.
please go ahead and you drop me that list.
I sure will, because you will, and they're not long. They're not like huge books. Like, I think they're all like in the hundreds, like the early, like high one, not the high, but the low 100s. Like, you literally, I think once she started dropping them, I was getting through them within a day.
Listen, because I can't keep up. That's my girl. I cannot keep up with her because every time I look up, it's another book. I'm like, wait a minute, we were just talking
Yes,
about
she
another
just
book.
dropped a Henderson Christmas book, a Henderson family Christmas book. That's another one of her family series books. But
Listen,
yeah, she out here doing the dang on
y'all
thing.
gotta listen. That's my girl. I promise you, I love her to death. Y'all gotta help me out because and listen, if you stay off of social media for a week or hell, if you stay off
You
social
miss
media,
everything.
you'll miss a day. You'll miss a whole series with Monica. I promise you.
Right, you sure will. You sure will.
Miss Will her, so congratulations for being number 9, the whole series. Monica, you know we love you here. She has also been a former guest on the show. So go
Yes,
her interview. She is phenomenal and she is extremely hilarious. I love her. And
she
she's
is. Oh,
and
she's so
down to
sweet.
earth.
And I seen her this year in Indie Love. So she's one of the authors I did see this year,
Yeah.
Indie Love.
Me and her, I've seen her twice, like 3 times actually. Atlanta Kickback and then the event in Alabama, Me Time Book Club's event behind the ink. So that's sis. We love her to pieces. All right.
Yes, yes,
Please check her out. So
definitely.
My number 9 is going to be another author who actually has made this list twice this year. I have a few authors. I tried not to, but damn, their pen was so good. It just, and this is another one. Just read in December. And if it tell you anything, she made number 9. I am talking about none other than Holiday in the Hills by
Do you
Aubrey.
know? Let me tell you something. I had that book on my list, and I'm gonna tell you. Want to know what I had it at? I had it at number 7, and I said no because I read another book by her this year that said that I was like, I'm gonna talk about because I knew she was gonna make your list. That book right there, I had to, y'all.
Let me
Aubrey Penn got those balls the size of a globe
let me tell y'all
because the
something.
way she ended that book.
I was so mad. Let me tell you something. I, you know, I was heated when I emailed her. Look, I can go in her DMs any time of the day or the night. I actually did exactly what it said. It said email her. I emailed her,
I
and
slid in her DM.
I listen. I started off that doggone email with Aubrey. If I knew your middle name, Pen, I would say it. Like I knew her middle name. Like I was call her whole fucking government. Like
Yep.
I was. I said, how the f dare you pull me into this love affair of Lex and Milan? Y'all, listen, Milan, that heifer there, she. Whoo, when you say somebody, all I'm gonna say is let's put that at right. Sit
Lex
that.
put that thing down on her. He said he
Look,
unzipped his pants, smacked it, and she
every,
act right ever since.
look, she ain't been right ever since, and now
Ain't
we
been
ain't,
right ever since.
and now we ain't right. How she ended that book, the readers ain't right. How
You know what I'm saying? I
how
told her she
dare,
got some audacity.
I said, how dare you pull us into this love affair with this spine team? When I tell you the revelations, the drama, and the spine tingling sex. My God,
Mm, mm, mm.
listen, Aubrey, listen. And then you do us this way. You do us this way. All I'm gonna say is, regardless of how she do it, it's number 9 and it's worth reading. If it tell you anything, I just read this book last week and it's at number 9. Out of top 20, it's in number 9. You
I
hear
had
me?
her at 6, but I changed the book. I had her at number 6.
And
That
number
book was so daggone good it didn't make no sense.
when I tell you, I think my review said, "Can we talk? Can we before we get into the book? Can we talk about how Aubrey Penn is penning? You hear me?
Yes, killing the game this year.
How she is
Killing it.
penning. Okay,
Killing it.
I tell
And
you, this
you
heifer,
guys like because
this heifer, right?
yes, because she said she was not feeling good. And for her to drop this book and then to drop the creed,
Yes, and I think she
she
dropped the third one too, if I ain't
yeah,
mistaken.
yes, she got another one coming out too. But she's killing it. And her pen is like, yeah, because she did holiday season this year. She did one final shot. I have
Mm-hmm.
to finish that. Like she
This is
just been writing. And Aubrey, I don't care what you write. You can write on a piece of paper, hello, my name is Aubrey, whatever your middle name is, Penn, and I write blah, 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 and hit publish, and I'm still gonna buy it because you're gonna probably make it interesting. You killing it, you
right.
always killing it, and I appreciate you so much. So
Killing
much.
the game, period.
Yes, that book right there was like, woo.
When I
All right.
tell you, and I'll say this too. I want to mention this. This book is not on Audible. This is an ebook. So yeah, like I said again, for me to
That's
sit
your one
down
ebook.
and read it, for me to sit down and read, and when I tell you, I was to the point that I was like, listen, I knew I had stuff that I needed to be doing, and I was like, the hell with it, I'm reading this doggone book. Aubrey, made me sit down and read a book. Now, I love you. You know I love you.
Yes, when you do that, you right. And the way I read it, because I was in Vegas when I read it, so I was reading it. We was reading it out loud, taking turns, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, no!" Like it was just like crazy. And the way we was reacting to it, it was just so good. So yeah, y'all definitely pick that book up because it's so good. All right, so my number 8 book is another series, okay, but This series has 5 books. The first book I read in 2021, so it didn't make it, but books 2, 3, 4, and 5 did, and it's the Black series. So we got Albert, we got Emancipating James, we got Anthony Unshackled, and then we have The Fort. Now, the remaining books on my list, not take that back, except for one, but I listened to the Audible. Y'all, this is why I fell in love with Jacoby Diem. Ain't
Amen.
no way in the hell
Amen.
one man. Do y'all see this finger? One man. 5 books had voices for every last one of the men that you can tell the difference. The men, the women.
White men, British men.
White men, British men. Yes, like, oh my gosh. The book was good, but the audio took it to another level. I love them. Now, I was a fan of Albert, and I love Miss House, and I don't want her trying to come get me. So I'm going to leave her man alone, because if y'all don't know, you need to know that Albert belongs to Mrs. House. Okay? He belongs to Miss House. Nobody else.
She Miss Albert, honey.
She loves her some Albert. But I fell in love with James. I loved me some James. James James went through it in these books. But this series, I love history. Like, I love history. I felt like I probably should have been born like when King Henry was there. And then I felt like I should have been born during slavery. Yes, I'm weird, but I felt like that's where I should have been. I love history so much. And to go through these books, y'all, Joan Vosser wrote the mess out of this series. Like, the mess out of the series. Her research. We got Frederick Douglass. We got President Lincoln. Like, we got so much from this series. We got a fort built, a whole, like, Black was bombed, but then he got his brothers Albert and James. Then he got Simon, and then he got Morgan. Then he got all of the wives. I mean, oh my gosh. Y'all, she made us love a slave owner. She made us fall in love with the Black cracker. We found out what the men did back in the day if they fell in love with each other. So we got 2 men together. Man, then we got a white slave owner who had 2 wives, a Black woman and a white woman. EJ, y'all, was the motherfucking shit.
And it wasn't even EJ. EJ wasn't even it. It was the 2 women who brought that situation together.
Yes, they decided. Nettie and I can't even think of
was the envy of the whole fort.
That, y'all, that series, I know people have read it, but I read it at the beginning of the year with the sisters, and like we would have discussions. Y'all, this series is so good.
Let me tell you something. I was now. I'm like you. I'm gonna I gotta let Alexandria have Albert. But I was a fan of Black until a certain point. Like, I still like him.
I love me some Black.
Like, I love me some Black, you know, as far as who he is as a person. But
right,
baby. I can't think of the heifer name right now, but the one who the Black cracker was in love with.
Callie.
Callie. When it came down to Black and Callie, he made me so doggone mad. Do you hear me? Y'all gotta read. Okay, so anyway,
read it.
The person who I actually end up after the entire series, I was like, I think I really am fanning for Jeremiah. I can't believe it.
No offense. Jeremiah was somebody else we did not like, the Black cracker, and I fell in love with Jeremiah. Oh yeah, Jeremiah can get it.
I fell in love with Jeremiah.
Jeremiah is definitely good. Let me tell you who I fell in love with, and it's like I would love her to do a book about him. I know she probably won't, but in the fort, the doctor that was in no, not Schultz, the Black doctor. That's the thing. He was the one that they found in the other town in Canada. I can't even think of his name.
I know you're talking. I can't think
because they called it Niggerville. Wasn't it? That's what
Yeah,
they was calling it.
he renamed it Freetown.
And he named it Freetown, right? But the doctor that was there, because he was kind of like helping them at the fort, he ended up moving to the fort. But I don't know, it was something about that man, because it's like, was he gay? Was he not gay? Because it kind of bothered him with the guy from who owned the store that they used to go shopping with, because he knew about them too. And it's like, how nobody else knew about them too, but he knew about them too. He was like this mysterious man.
Yeah, they called it buggery.
Yes, they called it buggery. Yeah, because when Albert said, I thought it was some buggery going on between Morgan and Simon when we first met him. I was done. Albert was the funniest man ever. Like, he would take a serious situation and turn it around, and you just couldn't do nothing but laugh. But that was so funny.
Jeremiah's son calling him mama.
Yes. And he answered it.
He loved it. He was like, he looked at his boys and he was like, y'all better not say shit.
Yes, like, yeah, you're gonna die if you do. I'm like, now I feel like I want to go back and listen to it, but Jacoby, this is why I fell in love with you. I fell in love with you in Black, but then as you kept on going, I was like, this man out here reading this book, y'all, literally one person, and you would think it's like so many different people doing talking. Schultz, we wasn't a fan of Schultz. You fell in love with him. Like, she turned people that we should not like, and we fell in love with them.
Except for Callie.
Callie, I liked her, but no, I was not a fan of hers. Like, it's a bunch of times I wanted to smack her too. You know, you gotta lick your hand when you really want to smack somebody, like the disrespectful slap. Like, lick your hand.
I didn't even want to do that. I just want to backhand her.
Yeah, well, you can lick the back of your hand too, and then pap her. Yeah.
Like that one I can't stand.
But yes, definitely check out the series. Black series by Joan Vosser, and if you can, listen to it, because I'm telling you, that was a show. It was a show.
Girl, listen. Okay, so here go my number 8. And
all right.
She was on your list last year, and I made a commitment to start reading her, and she had me in a chokehold this year, to the point we be in each other DM so often now. Like, I swear to God, we some long lost sisters who found each other.
That's how I be.
Y'all, her pen is so amazing, you guys. I am talking about none other than Kendrick.
Robbie Renee is bomb. Robbie Renee is bomb. I gotta read that one. So how is it? Let's talk about it, because I haven't read it yet.
Listen, first of all, let me just say this. I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook narrated by Wesley and Winston. This one she had dual narration with Wesley and Winston. So bomb. Winston, I'm trying to tell you, he done came up this year. Winston
I see.
Listen. When I say Robbie Renee has had me in a chokehold tighter than that vice grip that Money Mike had on Damon's nuts,
she'll do that to you. She will do that to you.
She had me listen, Jesus, this girl. This book followed one thing Robbie Renee gonna give you is a heartfelt story.
Yes, she will. She definitely will.
Yes, this book is about Deja Blue and Xander Kendrick, and they were childhood friends. You got to really read it, because it sounds weird, but actually they share a sibling. They share a sibling, but they not related. Okay, so at all, like, it's so Deja's mama and Xander's father had a kid, right? But of course, Deja mama and her daddy had her, and then Xander daddy and Xander's mama had him, but in the rest of his kids. But anyway, so she was basically like family to them, but they were childhood best friends regardless.
Right.
So it's basically a friends to lovers, but they went through a traumatic incident together when they were kids, like super traumatic. When I say It was horrific. You hear me? Um,
Wait a
and,
minute, worse than what Sincere went through?
um, yeah, because yeah, it was the worst. It was actually really worse than what Cecile went through. Uh, so and you
Oh
go
no.
through it like it is traumatic, y'all. So they end up okay. So Xander basically takes on to be her protector, and he's always there for her. But you can tell that they're in love. But he has
Oh.
himself as her protector, so he doesn't allow those feelings to consume him. And so she basically get tired of waiting on him and enter Roman strong. If ever in my life I have been so conflicted as to who I want this lady to be with, it is in this book. I've never in my life read a book with, because sometimes you be real clear, like just like I told you earlier in Ashley Antoinette, like with Miss,
Right.
I was ready to cast him to the side for Ami. I have, for Ami Harris. Okay, normally, like if a new person comes in, you ready to cast on to the side, but y'all listen, Roman and Xander was the best of the same in both worlds. Like it is I, I had to send her a message and be like, girl, what's gonna happen? Because I love Roman for her. I love Roman for Deja. Like Roman was that dude. You hear me? And I
But she does that. She
felt,
gives you another man for each
mm-hmm,
one of her characters and be like, you know what? You can be with him too. She did it for Sincere. She did it for Symphony.
mm-hmm. But listen,
So
she she did.
yeah,
But
she's
when
good
I
at doing
tell
that.
you it's elevated in Roman, like for real, because you was okay with how the stories ended up for Sincere and Symphony. But for this one, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little upset. I was a little upset. I was a little upset. I ain't gonna
Oh,
happen, but I was a little upset because I was like, girl, yeah, I don't think you meant for us to fall in love with Roman like this. so
maybe we might see Roman again.
So I can't tell the story, well, what happened, but I'm just gonna say it like this. Listen, you're gonna love both Xander, you're gonna love both Roman, and Xander is like their relationship is so beautiful, even as a friendship. It is so beautiful.
Oh,
Renee, you did that beautifully narrated with Winston, beautiful and Wesley. I love this book. It was my number 8. Girl, hats off to you. So I got nothing but love for you.
yes, yes. Now, my number 7, like I said, y'all know how we feel about Miss Penn. And like I said, I did have Holiday in the Hills on my list. And I was like, you know what? She my girl. It don't matter. And I'm going to do this. But my number 7 is The Trenches.
All right now.
Loyalty over
Yes,
everything
I love that book. I love
by
that book.
Aubrey Penn.
I
When
love that
I
book.
say she wrote the entire FUCK out of
Mm-hmm.
that book, she
Mm-hmm.
did.
Mm-hmm.
9, Copeland? Oh, baby. 9, Jesus Christ, 9, Lord
And
Jesus.
we
9 was
interviewed her.
no joke.
We interviewed her when the trenches came out. We sure did.
Yes, we sure did. So if you did not see that interview, go back and watch that. But also read this book. This book
Yeah.
was so good. So 9 and Saren. Saren was a preacher's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
9 was just a drug dealer. Like he knew her since she was younger. They loved each other then, but things happened. They broke up. She ended up being with the scum of the MF and Earth, and I'm so glad he got what he got because he deserved it.
Yep.
But this book was so good. Let me tell you, Aubrey Penn, because she did the same thing with Indigo Hayes. Y'all, she's a gangster writer for real. Like
Mm-hmm.
she can write the mess out of some drug dealing dudes. The
Mm-hmm.
Trenches was so good. Like once I started reading, I couldn't put it down. Like I couldn't stop. And then then you get in like what's going on in the streets in this story. But then not even that, you get to see 9 and Saren get back together, fall in love. But not even just 9 and Saren, because his Yayo. Oh, I loved me some Yayo.
I knew where you
Yayo
was
and
going. I
Jenna.
had to shut my mouth.
Yayo is Nine's right hand man, so we get to see
Yayo.
Yayo and Jenna. Jenna
Yayo
is Sarah's best friend.
I love Yayo.
Yayo is like that. Yayo is that nigga,
Yes.
like for real. He
that.
definitely is. This book has so many levels to it, so much going on. Like it was so good. Like I did not think she can outdo Indigo Hayes until she wrote this. Like I loved it. So go ahead and get you a 9 and pick up The Trenches because 9 Copeland was no joke.
And slide some Yayo on there too.
And that daggone little baby, I can't think of her name, but Jenna's little girl, oh my gosh, hilarious.
Listen.
Yeah.
So Lord, okay, so we're gonna roll into my number 7. My number 7, this is the first book that I have read by this author. So she's new to me. She's not new to me as far as me not knowing her, but this is a debut book for me to read for her. And what a debut it was.
Ooh.
My God in Heaven. Narrated by Wesley and Emmanuel.
Mm-hmm.
It is none other than Free Game by
That book was so good. So good.
Let me tell y'all something. Okay. Free Game by Kima B. It is freedom. And ISIS for me all day.
Yes.
Oh, do you hear
Freedom
me?
was no joke. None.
Listen, when you want to talk about exploring your life and living it unabashedly and freely, read this book. It's not
Yep.
that I think the audio book was like maybe 4 or 5 hours, but when I tell you the life lessons packed in here, Freedom was a rapper and he was retiring, and he meets Isis, who is the manager of a tattoo shop, and he's going to
Mm-hmm.
get a tattoo done, and basically, she was like, she run the business, and she was like, excuse me, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. She about to cancel his whole appointment, and he was trying to push up on her then, and she was like, I know. And so basically, Isis was the type she didn't want no relationship, especially by no rapper, because she was like,
Yep.
y'all ain't faithful in this, that, and the third. And so she actually ends up seeing him again in the club, and they hook up because she challenged him, and he was like, because she said that she's really good about one and dones, and that's what her thing was. And let me just tell you now, she thought she was gonna one and done him, but she should have known when he stopped in that kitchen and told her to drink a whole bunch of water that she would go be able to one and done this joker. Okay, so
He
yeah,
warned her. He warned her.
all I'm gonna say is, if you don't do nothing for the rest of your life, you pick up, take this free game, pick this book up, and definitely read, listen to chapter 5. I can tell you the chapter, honey. I can tell you the chapter, honey.
Hmm.
Chapter 5
Hmm.
will change your life, honey.
This book was definitely, I loved it. I haven't listened to it yet, so I might have to go ahead and do that. Because, I'm really getting into audibles and I'm loving the audibles.
Listen, let me
But
tell you something. If you don't do nothing for the rest of your days, you make sure you pick up this book. If you don't listen to now another chapter, you're gonna listen to chapter 5. It's gonna change your life.
okay. Now see, now I gotta listen to 8 because like I said, I read 8 and I read free game. So now I gotta listen to it. So now you gave me 2 books from your list that I have to listen to. I got you. Actually 3 because I do need to listen to Kendrick. And
Yeah.
4 in his corner, the
Look,
crystal. Like so.
Passion and Cross Passion too.
Yes, and it's so funny because Crimes of Passion is on my list already. It's in my Audible, so I gotta listen to it. All right, so my number 6 book has already been on here, but of course I had to put it on my list because I fell in love, and that is The Marriage Contract by Shay Davis. And what I do, I call it listen because even though I listen to the books, I still need to see the words. So I read and listen at the same time. So I listen. And Wesley and Emmanuel did an excellent job. Now, Emmanuel, I actually read another book, listened to another book by him first that's on my list, and that made me fall in love with him. But like him as Soul Matthias, oh my gosh, I loved it. Also, I love the fact that she made this a duet.
Yes, she did.
And that was my first time listening to a duet, and I fell in love. I loved it. I love this series, this book so much. Just meeting Soul and meeting Alexa. Like Alexa was young, like so he was like wow, 10 years older than her. She
Mhm.
was young. All she did was work, go home, rinse, repeat, do
That's
the
it.
same thing. And she was turning 25, and she was like, you know what? I need to do something for my birthday. Her sister was like egging her on. That's the only time I liked her sister, is
Mhm.
because she egged her on to go enjoy. And
Mhm.
she did. She went to Vegas, and when she came back married.
And what
Now,
happened in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas.
it didn't stay in Vegas because he was like, give us a chance. And she did. And I'm glad she did because he was definitely worth it. He opened her up into enjoying life, living life. And she tamed him to get away with his bad boy ways. Now, one thing else I like, I'm gonna tell you what I loved about Soul. Soul did not play about his money. Soul knew his worth.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
He
did.
definitely knew his worth, and he was determined to get the money, and that he know he was owed. He didn't get it, but he was determined to get it. And
Mm.
then he got, but
And
I think
he
he
got
got something.
majority of it though. He got majority of it.
He got it right, but I feel like he got what he wanted most out of life, and that was a family.
Yeah.
So if you have not read the marriage contract, and y'all, I've had this book on my thing for like since it came out, and I was like, oh my gosh. So when we said we were gonna bring on book of the month, I couldn't put it down. Like I literally finished it in one
Mhm.
sitting. I didn't put it down. None of that. The book was so daggone good. Like so
Yes,
good.
it was. And I'm glad you said it was a duet because it was mainly narrated, I think, by Wesley and Emmanuel, but she also had Elle Cleveland on there, and it was another narrator as well because Elle Cleveland was a mother, and it was another narrator on there for the sister, and a third one for his manager. So we got to hear all of these different voices, and I'm sorry I don't have all of their names, but I do
Look,
remember
I'm trying to pull it up to see.
Elle is my girl. So but it was Elle Cleveland. Like I said, she's another phenomenal narrator as well. Elle has been on our graced our show. She's also narrated for me as well.
Yes.
Elle, it was Elle, Wesley, Emmanuel, and two other ones. I cannot remember the
Look,
name.
I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. Where it say full cast. I'm pulling it up for you because I had it up because I wanted to. Oh gosh, what is going on? I tell you, you click one button and something else pop up.
Right.
Why? Yeah, it's not trying to let me see the full cast, but because it does say Wesley, Ingram, Wesley Siobhan, Emmanuel Ingram, and then it say like full cast, and then you click that and it goes to all this other stuff. So I was trying to find it, and you did say it on the show how many people was in here because I didn't even know it was that many different characters.
I'm gonna see if I can find it really quick.
Yeah, so you definitely said that, but this was definitely, it was a beautiful story. I loved it. I would like I asked her will we see more of them because I feel like we definitely need to see more of them.
Yes, we do. Let's see. Contract with.
Oh,
Okay. I swear we knew from it. Okay. All right. Let's see. It was Wesley Siobhan, Madison C. Marie as Candace, Why I didn't know this? Winston James is Andrew. I told you Winston James is Andrew, Elle Cleveland as the mama, and Emmanuel Ingram is Soul Matthias. So those were your narrators for, and it was a duet for
it was so good. It was
Andrew.
definitely
It was
good.
so good. Like it was amazing. I loved it. So
Yes.
guys, listen. My number six is actually going to be something we just really discussed. And here we go, girl.
Oh,
Sports.
I love that book. Oh my
By
gosh. I didn't
sport.
want it to end.
Listen, I didn't want it to end either. I actually this I think her series parts of her series made my list last year. So the fourth is
Yeah.
actually book six, um, which is the final book in the series. And let's see, y'all, listen. All I gotta say about the fort, we ride at bitches, dog.
Yes.
They ride at dawn. Like this is that type of, but it is laden with love, self-preservation, and a vision for tomorrow. The fort was just, it was such a dynamic summation.
It was.
Showcase like, and let me tell you how I actually said this because I pulled this from the book. The fort was a dynamic finish that truly showcased the uncaging of our thoughts, the emancipating of our way of life, and the unshackling of us all from fear. Because
I love that.
that quote was in the book, but if you really know and you pay attention, those key words were titles of each book in her series. So it meant like the way she beautifully wove this story together from one person to the next in this series. I absolutely love this series. The Fort was a great combination and wrap up of everything. Like the Fort can continue, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But if it has to end right here, it was done beautifully. My hats off to you, John Vester, not only for the fort, but for the entire series.
The
It
entire series.
truly, a lot of people, they say they don't like the black trauma, but listen, this type of story here is empowering. So I encourage you to read the entire series. The Fort is just the last book in the series, but when I say it's a beautiful wrap up of the entire series, but you will love it from Black to Elbert to Emancipating James to Anthony
Anthony
Unshackled.
Unshackled. Mm-hmm.
You will read it. I think I said book 6. It was book 5. Before it was book 5, right? So
That was book 5. Yeah.
yeah, book 5 because I
Yeah,
was like,
because it was Black, Albert,
look, I'm trying to get her. I
James.
said book 6, Lord. Look, John, like,
You know we've been asking. You know
we've
we've
been
been
asking
asking.
for book 6 though,
Yep,
but
she said nope, nope. But we have been asking.
we have been asking for.
Yes.
Book 5. So y'all, the Fort is mine, Joan Vasa. My hats off to you. You are a phenomenal writer. I love this entire series, and I just cannot speak any more highly of an entire series. This series I want to see as a TV series. To be honest with you, I really do.
Yes, yes, yes. I definitely do. On Netflix, we got 6 books. I mean, look at me saying 6 books. We got 5 books. You got season 1 from Black. You got 6 seasons right here. I feel like each book can do 10 episodes. Look, I'm already putting it out there. We
You
got
ain't
6 seasons. Book season 1 is Black, 10 episodes. Season 2 is Albert, 10 episodes. Season 3, like we got 6 seasons
yeah,
of this.
look,
We can do
you
this.
can do 12 episodes if you want to. I ain't opposed. I think
That
you can
is true.
do 12
That is
episodes.
definitely true. That is true. All right. Now, my last books from book 5 to 1, so we're getting there, you guys, are all books that I did on Audibles. Okay. So I listened because I read and listen because, again, your girl got to see the words. I feel like I'm a little slow, but I just got to see the words. Okay. So my number 5 book is Real by Kennedy Ryan.
Oh, yes.
This book was so good. Now, like I said, the Audible took it to another level. Like the audio for this book was huge. You got singing. I meant like you got music. It was, oh my gosh, it was for the ages. This book was so good. So this is about Cannon and Neva. Cannon is like this real big he's this real big producer, and he wanted to create a movie about Desi Blue. She was like she was a singer back in the day. She went over to Paris, made money becoming this huge singer, and he wrote a book about her. And he wanted Desi to be someone that nobody knew about. So his friend took him to see Neva doing a performance, and he was like, that is Desi. So Neva went from Broadway to doing this play. But Neva was gorgeous. She was a great actress, but she was sick. And I'm guessing because it was so much going on with her filming this, she had lupus. So she had flare ups. And sometimes the flare ups would kind of like take her out of production. But then she had one where she actually had to go to the hospital and they had to stop production for a while. But during the book, we got to see Cannon and Neva falling in love. Like, so they would go hang out, get to know each other, but then you can just start to see they fall in love with each other. Then they started dating, and she didn't want it to be known that they was dating, but he didn't either because he was at one point in time when he did another movie, he was dating the leading lady, and it became a big deal. So they kind of kept it under wraps until it eventually came out. But this story was beautifully written. And like I said, the audio just took it to the next level. Like there was a time where we get to hear Desi Blue and her husband talking. Then there was another time we got to hear them singing. Like it was just such a good book. And I'm always late to the party. I don't come to the party when everybody else be at the party. I'm late. So I know this book came out a while ago, but I just read it. Now, this was narrated by Ebony Flowers, Nicole Small, and Jacoby Diem.
Yes.
Now, I don't know which one is who because I'm not only voice I really know is Jacoby, Wesley, and Emmanuel. I'm getting there. I'm learning everybody's voice because, like I said, I'm really getting into audibles. But I'm not sure which one was doing the singing, but between Ebony Flowers and Nicole Small, one of them I think we're doing the singing of this. Like, it was just, like I said, it was a performance. This book was, oh my gosh, it was just beautiful. I loved it. So if you have not read it, definitely pick it up.
I actually have that Audible. I have not. I started and then I had to listen to something else and I have not gone back to it, but I am going to finish it. And because like I say, it was on my list for this year. I just have not gone back to it, but it's definitely on my list. So
Yes.
I'm trying to tell you, when we are getting down to the nitty gritty, because my number 5, y'all, is something that me and Crystal go back and forth about, but we just gonna have to share this person. This author made my list twice again this year. It is Technical by Alexandra House with
Now,
Trevion Walker.
that is my man. Nobody else can have him. I ain't gonna tussle over that man. I'm gonna slide you over that man. I'm gonna drag you over that man.
She about to drag me, y'all. Cause
that is my man. You like now? I ain't sharing them. I ain't sharing them. I'm sorry. I love you to death, but I ain't sharing them. So let me see what you say first, because let me see what you say first. But that is my man.
Listen,
my man.
Narrated by Wesley and Jacoby.
Killed it. They killed it.
Murdered it. Listen, they murked this book. Do you hear me? Y'all, Dravion, he's an NBA player, right? Young guy. And Lord, I can't even listen. I can't even think of the lady name because I'm so busy trying to replace it for myself.
Stevie. Don't forget my girl Stevie.
Listen. So Stevie, she basically was she was a starving artist, to be honest with you. She played the what's it, the violin or the cello?
The cello, I think it was.
Cello.
No, yeah, because the cello is the one that sits on the floor.
Was it the cello or the violin?
No, it was the violin.
Okay. So the violin. And so, but she was pregnant. He meets her when she's pregnant. Basically, she had her baby at his house.
At his house.
She was delivering Uber Eats. And he basically
chicken wings.
And so he just basically falls in love with her because he witnesses her through natural childbirth. And that was so beautiful to him. And he just wanted to take care of her. And they end up literally falling in love. Let me tell you something about Dravion.
Oh, so beautiful.
That boy was 100% man from start to finish.
That's why I love him.
In the daytime with a flashlight trying to find you a Dravion Walker. Do you hear me?
That's why I love him.
Dravion, baby. And when I tell you, he more than put the thing down, flipped it in reverse. Do you hear me?
And he loved older women.
He created it. Okay, he created it. Okay.
So you got money, and you got good head, and you got good beep. Yeah.
And you're a good man.
A good man. And a good man. A loving man. A tall man. A dark man. A wealthy man. It don't get no better.
Come on, Crystal. Say it.
That's why he my man.
Crystal. Like
a supportive man. A man that would take and raise somebody else's child type of man.
Listen, let me tell you something. The child's father was not in the life. and he found out that she was dating Dravion. And he came and he brought his behind, made his way up to Dravion's house. Dravion let his ass know, like, oh, ain't nothing you could do. This my child. What you want? And
Mm-hmm.
what you gonna do about it? You know,
Yep.
because you
Nothing.
where was you? Where was you? Where was you? Listen, Dravion. If I didn't fall in love with him no other time, when he put his foot down with that baby daddy, and he said, he was like, I ain't playing no games with you, bro. you ain't finna come over
He
here. Now.
mine.
This is my child. This is mine. This is my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't had nothing to do with it, but this is my baby.
But I had already loved him from like the start. But like you
Yes.
said, you loved him when he put his foot down with the baby daddy. I respected him so much more when he put his foot down with her father, because her father and that mama were disgusting to me.
They were.
Like,
Listen.
you literally stole from that girl. She shouldn't have
Mhm.
been struggling. You took all her money, and when she's calling you asking you for money because she really needed, you say to her, "What money?" And then when you find out who she dating, you want to show up, and then
Mhm.
you still want to be rude and disrespect her.
Mhm.
Nah, get up
Yeah,
out here, bro.
he was so straight up. Like there was so many moments where he was like he was raised right. Now his grandma was wrong as hell too now, but she
Yes,
raised
she
him right.
was. She was.
She raised him right. So listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, technical with 100% man, Dravion Walker. Listen,
I
1,000% man.
Right, because when we talked to her, we kind of went back with it. But I love what she said. Ooh, I'm sorry. Living being up on the top floor, the birds be flying. I'm thinking it's about to come through the window. Sorry, you saw me jump like that.
Yeah.
But what I love, okay, so we have the Cyclone series, right? They Cyclones.
Yeah, this is book 2 of the Cyclone series.
Right. This is the book 2 of Cyclones. So you got Paul, you got Dravion, and then you got Armand. So she said she wanted to give us the 2 hards and then a soft in the middle. Now she did. And I mean, like I said, the whole series, I loved every last one of them. But it was just something about Dravion. I still say to this day, he is my man.
Mhm.
Like, that's mine. And
I'm
I'm thinking beside him, on top of him, under him, by him, anywhere I can be, he is my man.
listen. I'm gonna have to
My
keep. I'm
man.
gonna have to look. I'm just gonna have to bow out of this gracefully because I feel like I'm gonna get. It's fine.
Yeah, look. I had
Fine.
my hand for a reason. So maybe that's probably why. So it could be like, look now, Untamed. I love you, but he my man. I ain't gonna, don't let me take off the earrings now.
I'm about. I gotta bow gracefully on that one. So yeah.
Yes, he is mine. Yes. And I loved his brother. His brother, what I loved his brother was just so supportive. But when his brother said to him, I'm finally glad you see what I've been seeing for years and that you finally put your foot down with this family.
Mhm.
Because I'm just like, you guys sat here and used him like he's paying y'all all this money and y'all barely working, and then you talking
And
smack.
baby, did he gather their ass?
I'm
Did
so
he?
glad he gathered them and then
Said,
tried to sit here and say it was
She said, and you, and you, and you. Like he.
right. And then to sit here and say that it was Stevie's fault. Stevie ain't seen none of this. She was there to support him, only him. And he
Mhm.
was there to support her. And I loved how they were like, he couldn't sleep. And then for him to be around her and be able to sleep,
Like
like
it's
I just,
like she didn't like you knew she was one because he was having all of these nightmares and stuff from his trauma that he had when he was a kid, and
right.
it's so like she did nothing but her presence was what.
Jesus Christ. Look, I'm over here going through it. Look, you trying to take my man, you messing me up.
She trying to slide me, y'all. She trying to
Yes.
come through the
Look,
screen
you
and
trying to
slide
take
me.
my man. Good
She
God.
tried to
See,
come through the
that was
screen.
nothing but God saying, stop being evil and share that man.
She tried to come through the screen and slide me off and drag me on.
Yes. I'm sorry. That was a technical difficulty right there for real.
She tried to test me for it. It's okay. I said I was gonna bow out. I said
Yes, okay. She said she was gonna bow out. Okay, I'm together now. I'm together.
so, but yes, pick up technical by Alexandria House. Miss A House, of course, y'all know she always brings her A game.
Yes, she does. Yes,
Definitely
she does.
have that book
Definitely.
and definitely listen to it on Audible. I promise you that. Woo!
Yeah, Audible was, I mean, like, I love the book. I love, love, love the book. So when it came out on audio, I was like, okay, I got to listen to it. And I was like,
Listen, and this is one that I can say I didn't listen, but I read it first and then I listened. Like I love the book that much that I read it and I listened to it. So when I
yep,
tell
me
you
too. Yep,
it, it,
that's how
it-
much I
it's
loved
different,
them.
it's a totally different experience on Audible that even the
It is.
books are great to read. But I'm just gonna tell you, I'm a fan of Audible, so it's a different experience. Listen to it
It
next.
was. I feel
Right.
like it made the book, I mean, like, the book was good, but it's like took it to a whole nother level with the
Baby,
audio.
I tell you something, these narrators don't just be reading, they be acting, honey. They whole
They do.
actors in these streets, baby.
Yes, they definitely do. All right, so y'all, we getting this list down. Okay, we on the number 4. Now, my number 4 book. Now, I did a little video, I think like last year on my TikTok, or like when I ordered the book, when the book came, when me sitting down, like me opening it, and I never read it. Okay. So then I went to LA in October and I found out that this author was going to be there. And I'm like, let me get this book read because I definitely want to be able to discuss this book with her. Okay, and the name of this book, but before I actually went to LA, she was in Atlanta, so I got to meet her. I got to go to an event, and she was there being presented an award, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she's such a beautiful person. And this is Miss Tia Williams, 7 Days in June.
Yeah,
Okay, and the
yeah.
book was narrated by Maylay Lee. Now, I wasn't too much of a fan of the narrator. I mean, she did a great job. I think she did an excellent job as as the daughter of that Lord Jesus. Let me get the characters' names because I'm gonna need the characters' names. But she did an excellent job as the daughter, but as everybody else, it was like, it was like, I was like, but I listened to it. I couldn't put it down. So 7 Days in June, like I said, by Tia Williams. This is about Eve, Eva Mercy, and Shane. So they met when so Eva's mother was kind of like out there. They moved around a lot. So they lived in DC for a while. And when they lived in DC, Eva met Shane. She met him at school and like an incident happened. So for like 7 days, they spent 7 days together. Okay. And during those 7 days, a lot of stuff happened. They got to know each other. They fell in love with each other. But like I said, they were young. So then um Shane did something that kind of got him in trouble. They went back to the house and they looked for, that's what he reached out to her mom finally. That's where they found June. So it was, I said June found Eva. So like it was a lot of things that was going on in Eva's life and what she was going through. So then here we are, they're adults, and Eva and Shane run into each other again. But she's changed her name. That wasn't her name from the beginning. Like when they first met, she had a different name. I'm not telling you, I want you to read the book. But just to see them get back together, get to reminisce and things like that, it was great. So like I said, when they separated, Eva went to college, Shane went to prison.
She like Shane.
Yeah, I kind of didn't want to tell you, but I loved this book so much. So I'm always a person like I said, I feel like if people are together and they love each other so much and then something happens where they break up, like don't you always have that shoulda, coulda, woulda? Like, so if
Mhm.
you get a chance to see each other again, I feel like, okay, this is God saying, let's try this again.
Mhm.
So because then it's like maybe things were undone, unfinished. And that's how I felt with them. Even though they were young, they were like seniors in high school, but their relationship was undone. So for them to get back together was great. But Shane had issues and so did Eva. Like so much, they both had so much from their childhood that they had to work on. Shane like went through it because he had nobody. He was in foster care.
Mhm.
Eva had her mom, but like I said, her mom was out there and she had issues with her mom. This
Mhm.
book was so good. And like I said, I listened to it. the narrator, I felt like it was enough, and this is why I listen, because then I might get a book where I'm not a fan of the narrator and then I'm like putting it down. But I definitely loved it. And I got to meet Tia Williams in LA at the Creative Connect that was put on by Black Girls Who Write. Yo, she is so down to earth. She's such a beautiful woman, and like she shared so much with us. And I'm not sure if you know this, but she also did another book that is called The Perfect Find, and
Mm-hmm.
that's actually going to be on Netflix as a movie.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm excited about that for her.
To meet Tia Williams at Black Writers Weekend this year. I took a picture with her, talked
Yes, me
a little
too. And I had
bit.
on pajamas and took a picture with her.
Girl, listen, she's so down to earth. She's so sweet.
She really is. She's so cool, and I loved it. But this was definitely a good read for me. I loved it. So if you have not read 7 Days in June, and to be honest, that title was not what, like, I'm thinking maybe her name was June. They had 7 days together, and then that was it. But it was so much more to this book. So much more.
Mhm. So yeah, so now we down to my number 4. She was on my list earlier. I told y'all she had me in a vice grip harder than Money Mike had them vice grips on Damon's Nuts and Friday. Listen, my number 4, Pretty Shattered Soul by Robbie Renee. Listen, this was Pretty Shattered Soul was my first book that I read by Robbie Renee. It was actually on Crystal's list last year.
Oh my God, that book is so bomb.
It was
So bomb.
narrated, so it came out on Audible. So I listened to it, and it's narrated by Wesley.
Mm.
Y'all,
Wesley did her thing on that.
yes, you will fall in love with the blossoming love affair of Sincere James and King Cartwright.
Mm-hmm.
Mufasa.
Yes,
listen,
Mufasa.
listen. Sincere's cousin Symphony makes an appearance, and so does King's friends, the people he worked with, Jameson, the whole hair, look, all them Harrison Jamesons, all them J's, all them J's.
Uh-huh. That's what Jameson was. Yes, Jameson,
Jameson,
Tyus. Oh, the
his
men in these
Tyus,
books.
and Lennox, and all of them, they all go on a trip together. Okay, so King, I fell in love with King. I did. King is my backup boo. Now he my backup boo, but he is just the way he just catered and was so patient. When they say love is
Mhm.
kind and love is patient and love is gentle, that is everything King
That
was.
was King. Yep.
She needed it because she went through some trauma in college. Like I told y'all earlier, Robert Renee will give you some heartfelt trauma now.
She
So
sure will.
this is another traumatic beginning. I promise you, I listened to this audiobook 6 times this year. And what happened with Sincere was at the very beginning of the book. I only listened to that once. I can't listen to that no more than one time. I
I
promise
don't
you.
know how Wesley did that literally when I listened to it, because I had already read it. So when we did the interview, the book of the month with her, and I
Mhm.
listened to it, like Wesley had me crying. I had to pause it before I went on.
I cried.
She did that part so good. Like I felt like I was there. That's how bad it, like, oh my gosh, she did that so good.
Yes, and then the fact of the matter was that Robbie Renee, she did not shy away from it. We had to go through this trauma with Sincere throughout,
Yes, we did.
like, because it was so traumatic. Of course, when you go through things that's really dramatic and traumatic in your life, you don't just go through it and then you get over it. You spend years going through the grief and the mess of it to get to your healness and your wholeness. It's been 10 years and she's still dealing
Yes.
with it. And so we're still, as a reader, you go through all of this. And Robert Renee didn't shy away from what was needed. She let us go through the work that Sincere had to go through to get to be the person she needed to be, so that she could properly love King in return.
Yep.
And when I tell you, in their own way and in their own time, they found this love. They found love. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. Beautiful story. Hats off to you, Robert Renee. You are my number four. I love Pretty Shattered Soul. Mm, a dynamic story. Yes.
It was. I mean, the Symphony's book was good too, but Symphony kind of, and I love their cousinhood, but their sisterhood, because they were more sisters to me than cousins.
Yeah, they were. They
But
were. They were
Symphony's,
sisters, basically, me in my mind. Like I know they cousins, but they were sisters.
yeah, they were sisters. This book was it was such a great book. It definitely was. All right, so my number three. Yes, Untamed talked about it earlier, and it's my number three on my list, and is none other than On the Run by Miss Sheree Lewis. Now, this was narrated by Murray Brehon and Jacoby Dim. Y'all, I love this book so much. And now let me tell you. So before I read it, like I kind of sometimes go through reviews, and I was just like looking at reviews, and people was like Poppy, Poppy, Poppy. And I'm like, who is this Poppy? Y'all will never forget Miss Poppy. Poppy was no joke. But we got to see,
Papa
and
got
now
my.
we got to see Kanai and Quay. Okay. So basically, Kanai and Quay, they were younger. They were friends first, but they fell in love. And then like Untamed said, it was an unfortunate them having to leave. Now, the unfortunate part is Kanai did not know. He was just snatched away. And then her crazy mama, Poppy, was like, oh, his dad snitched. So now they all dead. So she's thinking
He
he's
died.
dead. And
Mm-hmm.
he's been dead for years. So lo and behold, Kanai finally leaves Milwaukee. She gets the job that she loves, and she goes to Florida. Now, before she goes to where she's at, we get to see what Quay is doing and where Quay is. And then when they say what Quay is, and then when they say what Kanai is, I was like, oh my God, like how is this going to happen?
Yes.
So when she sees him, it's like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So the way she brought them back together was cute. Now, let me tell you, because I might be the only person, but Kanai pissed me off. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. Because one, you're mad at Quay. Quay was a child, just like you were a child.
Mm-hmm.
And Quay had to do what his family wanted him to do. See, she don't know that he tried to fight for her, but I just felt like, why are you mad at him when he was a child? And then, you're doing, he's asking you that you can't say that name, say this name, and you still did it. Like, I just felt like, girl, you needed to grow up a little bit. You needed to grow up. So just to see them to get back together, and I loved his relationship with, what's her name? Because I want to say just her name. I don't want to say who she was, because when they saw each other again, Kanai had a big secret, and Quay was devastated by it.
Yes,
devastated, because 10 years were gone. So, and then I like that anger that Quay had towards his father was well deserved. What pissed me off was his mother. Like, literally, you took my life and turned it around and turned it upside down. And you don't think what he did was wrong. You're always having his back. And then I'm taking care of you, MFers? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So this book was so good. Like I said, the Audible was to die for. Like, I read and listened at the same time. This book was so good. I'm glad we got to interview her and talk to her about this book. I love the cover because, you got two tapes. One say the past, which was on side A, and on side B was the present. We got to just see, second chance at love, all of that stuff. So this book was so daggone good.
Yes.
So if you have not read On the Run by Sheree Lewis, pick it up. And like I said, she's somebody else I got to meet this year. I was so excited. Like, she's gorgeous. Y'all, her sister was gorgeous. Her mom was gorgeous. It was just like a family of gorgeous women. So it was definitely exciting to meet her. But yes, my number 3 is On the Run by Sheree Lewis.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna slide into my number 3. My number
Ooh.
3 is, it was a little bit different read. It was actually a memoir, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it. My number 3, My Seven Black Fathers by Will Jawando.
Ooh.
So listen, y'all, and I said he was on. I know I had 2 males on my list. I am so sorry.
Yeah, you
Said
did.
that earlier, but Will Jawando, he is basically I want to say he's something like a commissioner in the DC area, DC, Baltimore area. So I think it's DC, but he basically he's in office. He's in office, and what he does is it's self narrated. He narrates his own. He wrote it. He narrated his own book, as most memoirs are anyway. Um, and I'm gonna tell you what I said about it. I said that his memoir serves not only as a historical chronological recount of his past, from an inner city young black male to a civic leader, a husband and father, but also it's a call to action of the black men community to uplift, educate, and mentor the next generation of young black males.
He probably was out Baltimore because I'm just trying to think. I've never heard his name in DC.
I want to say I think he was in Maryland, because I want to say it was Silver Springs, Maryland. I want to say.
Okay, Silver Spring. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I probably
So,
definitely wouldn't hear it.
so
Yeah.
Silver Springs. I knew it was in the air because I think he worked in DC too. That's why I'm.
Okay.
But he was
So
running.
yeah, he would definitely do Silver Spring. Okay.
So he was. So that's where DC is coming from, because he actually worked in DC. That comes up in his book. But he discusses the 7 black men who made a difference in his life, coming up from a child to a man. It covers not only his father, his stepfather, when he worked with the amazing, the listen, the incomparable, the astute President Barack Obama. Like,
Oh
he
wow.
gets to play basketball with President Barack Obama and be, part of his team. Like, it is amazing. He talks about the mentorship that he received and the guidance. And the thing that was so beautiful is that he started this book speaking about his teenage years with his best friend, and how
Hmm.
the decisions his mother made for him in regards to the school he went to, and the light and the people that were in his life was such a difference. Like, his friend was headed for the NBA. He was like a star. But
Ooh.
where he went to school, because of the neighborhood he lived in, because he didn't have the guidance that he had with black men, his friend ends up basically getting murdered. He get, he goes into this lifestyle, this streets, and he gets murdered. And he said
Oh.
so he could have seen himself basically going down the same path. But what happened is, because of the 7 black fathers he had, the men who stepped up, his school teacher who stepped up, a man who worked with her mother who stepped up. And it wasn't like they were all taking care of him. But at the time,
They just was there in his life.
yeah, they were instilling things into him because they saw something inside of him. They saw greatness inside of him. And they helped cultivate that greatness in different ways. And
And can
because
I say something to that part? So, like I said, I was born and raised in DC. Like that, this is my home. Like I love it to death. I love the city. And then when I became a parent of kids, like my daughter, she did things, but my son played sports. Like my son played sports in DC. He played sports in Maryland. So he became like well-rounded in doing sports. He did track, he did football, he did basketball. So he had a lot of male in his, he had his dad, but he also had other, like they call him, like he said, these are my uncles.
mm-hmm.
One thing that I just want people to realize about DC is, because you guys, like the news, you only get to see the bad. This city right here will take care of its own.
Mhm.
And the fact, like you said, that he put that in his book, that people stepped up and showed, like, was there for him, that, like you said, he could have went down the wrong path and he didn't, because of the people he had in his life. Now, granted, there have been some kids that my son plays sports with that they have ended up in like bad situations. But the fact of the matter is, these men in the DC area do step up when their kids are playing sports. They're not just looking at their kids and helping their kids, they're helping all of the kids on the team. And then it's so much that comes from this city, not the bad. Like, it is so much good in this city. And like, I'm glad I got to witness it, being a parent of a black boy in DC,
Yeah.
because like you said, they can go down the wrong way. Because I've seen some stuff with some kids, and like, it has made me cry. Like, I've shaken my head, and it's just like, kids should not have to go through this. But just to see that people step up for other people's children, that's what I love the most about DC.
And that's his call to action, is that he recognized the reason that he did not go astray was because there were these black men
Yep,
stepped up in the ways that he needed them to. They were
yep,
different in the ways he needed them to, that helped guide him to become the man who he is today, become the civic leader he is today, become the husband and the father that he
yep,
is today. And he was like, it's the one thing that we take for granted is not so much, he said, because black guys are stereotyped and all of this stuff. He said,
that's so true.
what what is not realized is that the biggest difference between having a young man, a black young man, turn out to be a vital part of society is who you place around them at their
Yep,
early ages. And if we were all as black men to step up in this community and just learn to be that backbone that these other young black males know, we basically can change and cultivate how the outcome of our black men. And so I love this book. Will Joanna did an excellent job of narrating his own book. He's a beautiful storyteller. Like,
oh, I have to check it out
yes,
then.
like the way this was the way this was crafted, it wasn't just crafted as a memoir, it was crafted as a story. It was such
Oh,
a beautiful story. He has a beautiful storytelling voice. I could tell that he was look, it is no surprise that he is able
mhm.
to be a civic leader and win, because he has a beautiful way of captivating people with his written words. So I can only imagine him speaking in front of people and how engaging he is. He reminds me of the same type of hope and just visionary person that Barack Obama was, because he
Right,
captivated us. And he every time he speaks, it's with purpose and it's with passion. And that's the way that Will is in this story. He speaks with such purpose and such passion, and he tells these beautiful stories, and he actually knows how to craft them to where everyone ends on this great and dynamic point that just makes you understand how vital it is for our young black males to have other black men to really truly cultivate them and show them the way. Like this one teacher, the whole entire story was nothing but about the man dressed in suits all the time, and he showed him how to put on a tie. But one of the things that happened is, even when he was showing him that, he was actually running late behind school, leaving school because he was getting beat up at the bus stop. So
oh,
teacher, I think, realized this, and he took the time to show him how to do his tie so he would not get beat up
beat
at
up
school.
at the bus stop.
But it was also him showing him how to groom himself. You know,
Right.
it's personal. How to look good. Like, we don't always have to dress a certain way. Like, that was something different. They never saw black men in suits and ties and things like that. He showed
I
him how
think
to
that's so funny you said that. I just told my son, I said, I want to buy you a suit. And he was like, for what? I said, because every man should have
dress
a suit in their closet.
in the
And
closet.
I said, you had one when you was in college, right? He was like, yeah. I said, so now, I said, probably because he'll be turning 24 next year. Oh my God, I'm out to have a 24-year-old. Jesus Christ. A 24 and a 29-year-old. But I told him like I want to have them suit. Like my goal, what I've been doing with my kids lately, I've been buying them things I feel like they should have as an adult. Like my daughter, she asked for a gold watch. I bought her a gold watch. Like so, I was like, oh, I want to get you this for your birthday. So that's my goal because I feel like you should all. It's certain things you should have, and so that's what I told my son. I said like we're gonna go to a store. We're gonna get you fitted correctly and everything. So because I feel like you should have a suit. He was like, all right, he'll do it just to do it just so I can leave him alone. But I agree.
Yeah, that's fine too. That's fine too. Long as you do
Yeah.
it.
And the funny thing about it, I'm gonna probably have to be the one to keep it. So yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And be like, I got your suit. Because he'll call and ask, like he keep on calling, ask me, did you see my jacket? No. He'll call 2 days later. You sure you ain't see it? You call me one more time. One more
Yeah.
time, I'm gonna hurt you. I said I didn't see it. Yes.
Yes, that is my number 3. It is
I
My
like that.
Fathers by Will Jawando. Please pick it up. It's a beautiful storytelling book and it's so inspirational. And I encourage, like, I feel like this book should be in schools. And I do encourage you guys to,
Especially up here.
yes,
But
I
I'm gonna look
encourage,
for it. Is it
yeah,
on Audible?
it's on Audible. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, send me the link because my son keep on saying, "Mom, can you send me a book?" So I would actually buy the
Definitely
book and the Audible for him.
share it with your sons. I shared it with my oldest son.
I
I
definitely will because he will probably like to hear because it's up here, like because this is
Mhm.
all he know. Like even though this boy has traveled so many places, this is what he knows. I just
It's
like you can go through
home.
it.
That's home though. It's home. I
Yes,
encourage you though. Let your sons listen to this book or read
I'm
this
gonna
book.
get it for him. All
Definitely.
right. So my number 2 book, y'all. Oh my gosh, we are almost there. So my number 2 book. This book was so daggone good. I cried. Untamed cried. She called me crying. And then she was like, you must not have got there yet. So get there. And then when I did it, I called her and I was crying. The Last Stop of Innocence. Last Stop from Innocence by Takira Allen. Y'all, this book right here. I listened, and it's narrated by Shayna Small. It was a lot. This book showed me so much. Like, so it was back in New Jersey. I have a real good friend. She lived in New Jersey. She kind of grew up in New Jersey, but she moved down here. So she lived in Patterson, New Jersey. And just to some of like the story behind what was going on in this story, like when I was reading, I was like, I heard this before. I heard this before. And then I realized it was because I had a friend that was in New Jersey and it was going on while she lived there. So this book was, you got a love story, but then you got the going from the age of being innocent to womanhood, um just falling in love with the wrong type of person, building a relationship with your father that has never been there in your life, but in all actuality you just was not aware of it. Like
Oh,
you spent summers with him, but when your mother passed and just before you went away to college, you had to go be with him. And then you just got a whole nother side of life because you lived in the suburbs and then you go and you kind of like in the city but not really in the city, but then it's like a bad area of where your dad lived at, so you got to experience life and to see her go through what she went through and her cousin. That chapter in the book gutted me. And the question we asked Akira was, how did you write that? How?
yeah.
Because that scene was so explicit, it was ridiculous. And not even that, that girl drove me crazy a little bit because I felt like she was so childish at the beginning. And it's just like you were too grown, but she did not deserve what she went through. And like I said, it gutted me. And I love the fact that we got to speak to Takira Allen about this book, but
Mm,
this book was so good. So if you have not read The Last Stop from Innocence, I don't care what you do in 2023, do yourself a favor and read this book. Because going from innocent to a grown woman and just what she went through in between, it will grow you up, it will change you, and it will make you love life, like respect life, oh my God, it's just so good. Just go get it. That's all I can say is just go get it.
yes, yes. So Oh my gosh. Um, I can't listen. Hold on. You know, I have to gather myself after we talk about that one. That's why I stayed so quiet. I gotta gather myself after we talk about that one.
That book right there. Woo.
And I can't even give it away, but hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me get to my number two. And my number two.
Oh, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see.
Listen, my number two ain't even no surprise. I
Uh
ain't
oh.
it again. Choco, choco, choco. Pretty Shattered Hearts by Robbie Renee. Robbie Renee killed my top 20. Like, listen,
I did not tell you she was going to do that to you. I told you that. Robbie Renee, like y'all, Robbie Renee, there, there has been some great authors that have come out, and people are sleeping on them. Like
she
really sleeping on them. I've learned real quick in this game. Like you go to your Christine, you go to your Alexandra House, you go to your Alexandra Warren, you go to your Nicole Fall, you go to your go-to people, you go to Untamed. Because like I got to get into the View because I keep on hearing about it. So that's my goal next year, the View. Because then now we're gonna have to interview you on that because I heard we got to talk about that book. And you already know once I start reading, I'll be texting you and be like, now you wrong.
right,
You
right.
have your go-to authors or repent. But some of these new authors that I've been reading, I'm just like she said, chokehold. And Robbie Renee had me in the chokehold when I read those two books because I read them back to back, and I was like, is she serious? So good. But go ahead. I done took over. Go ahead.
It's fine. Listen, again, narrated by Wesley Savon, the Queen Bee. Wesley Savon. This book is about Tyus Okoro and Symphony James and their relationship otherworldly and euphoric, and you will get entranced in this utopian love. Listen,
Yes.
Tyus rides for his sweet pea, baby. That's what he
His
calls
sweet pea.
it, sweet pea. And Symphony, although is a champion for her sister slash cousin finding love, she got her own demons that she
She
comes.
do. She definitely do.
She went through some rough stuff with her mama. Well, both of them went through some rough stuff. Her and her cousin went through rough stuff with their mom. They was
Cause
raised.
can we just say this and we'll just say it. I'll say it because both the books on there, their moms are not in their life. They were raised by their grandparents,
Yeah, they were raised by their grandparents, and
which is their grandparents' daughters. That's the funny thing
yeah,
about it.
it's their grandparents' daughters, and they was raised. They both of their grandparents didn't do crap with their daughters, but they raised some beautiful grandgirls.
They
Okay,
yes, they did. Yep.
so, but Symphony, she has a hard issue with trying to actually love somebody, especially someone who has children already. And Tyus has a son,
Oh,
TJ, who is.
TJ is so cute.
Let me tell you something. As soon as they walked into their house for Thanksgiving, and he said, "Daddy, you told me Miss Symphony couldn't come. Y'all were trying to trick me." And he
That
gave.
was the cutest thing
Let me
ever.
tell you something. I would have fell on my own knee and asked Tyus. This would have been my baby. This would have been
Yep.
my baby right
Right then and there.
here. Let me tell you something. Just how you felt about Dravion, Tyus Okoro is
Yeah,
my.
you did.
He is my whole ass man.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
ain't nobody take him away. You can call me Symphony at this point. But
Okay, and I promise I won't. I won't. Because I
listen,
got Dravion.
listen, can't nobody take Titus away from me. That he, me is him, and him is me now, and that's us. So
And
I
she's sticking beside him.
look beside him, behind him, around him. Look, I'm the fort around him.
Yes.
I'm protecting him at all costs. Cause Tyus ain't nobody to play with, baby. Let me tell you something. Something happens to Symphony at the beginning of the book, and I'm trying to tell you, I'm almost probably gonna be a sister wife because he got a twin brother named Titan, right? Him and Titan pull up. You hear me? Ty, you talking about some motherfucker talking about he got a gun. I got a gun too.
I got a gun too, right?
Listen, Ty ain't nobody to play with. You hear me? But Tyus, he another one. He wasn't quite as patient with Symphony, but he was an alpha male. He was like, look,
He put his foot down with her. He played no game.
he like, I ain't gonna play this game with you because this what you
Yep,
not
and I
okay.
loved it.
And this what you not gonna do. You ain't gonna treat me no any kind of dog. So you better tell me what it is or what it ain't. And he was like, I
Yep,
don't even know why I keep fooling up with you, but it was because he couldn't let her go. Couldn't let her go. He knew that she was meant for him. And he just stood in the gap for her. Like he had to just show her. He had to love her through the thick of it. And he did. Um such when I tell, I don't know what it is about these women writing these stand up gentlemen, but he was a stand up gent. Like the same way he put his foot down with her, he put his foot down for her. Do you hear
her.
me?
Yep,
He didn't let nobody. He said,
no,
look, he drug her mama. He drug Calvin. He drug. Ty's ain't you ain't gonna you're not gonna do her like this. He was it, and so she thought she was about to let him go because homegirl, his ex-girlfriend, came back into town and she was trying, and it appeared on the outside looking in that she was getting somewhere, but she was never getting nowhere with him, and he knew he was first of
because
all
he knew who he wanted to be with.
he knew
He
who he
knew.
wanted to be with, and he knew how his ex had done him, and he was like, I ain't got no time for you. Basically, she wasn't doing nothing but being a time filler. She thought she was getting somewhere. He just basically was like, why are you here? And when you leaving? And so he told me,
Bye.
go no man. And he never touched that woman. He didn't touch the woman at all. And I respect him for that because it was so easy for him to slide up in the whatever he wanted because he ain't got no
Slide up
problem.
in them cheeks
He ain't got no problem finding cheeks and sliding. Do you hear me? Because
and fine, a big fine man with
tell
some money.
with some money, okay? And let me tell y'all something, okay? They get it in, and they get it in real good. But they go on
Real
this
good.
vacation together. Birthday backwards, 862210. I still remember the code, baby, to get in that door.
Oh my gosh.
When they go to this vacation, y'all, do you hear me? Lord help them. It's amazing. This vacation is amazing. I'm ready to go on this vacation myself. This book was so beautifully written. Like it's an entire series. We're still waiting on book 3. ain't
Yes, we are. She
gonna
said it's
call
coming, but we still
ain't
waiting
gonna
on it.
call that. Ain't gonna call that because she been dropping books too, so I gotta give her a little time. But I'm
Yeah.
also pressing upon her to give us a Titan book. I need Titan to start talking. Cause Titan he impressed upon me in this book too. So Pretty Shattered Hearts is book 2 of the series. Earlier, book 4 was Pretty Shattered Souls. So Pretty Shattered Hearts is book 2 with Symphony James and Tyus Okoro. Congratulations, Robert Renee has broke the top 20 with 3 got doggone books. And I have read my
Yes. And
like
look, as she made both of our lists, and you got 3 of her books on your list, and I got 1. So yes, okay, Miss Robbie Renee doing the dang on thing.
the daggone thing. Yes, she
Yes.
a
All
flower.
right, y'all.
Check her out.
We are here. We at number 1. Now, my number 1 was Untamed's number 1 last year, and it is a series. Let me tell y'all something. This series right here, once I started, I couldn't put it down. I fell in love. I fell in lust. I fell in he's mine. She might have him all the time, but I'm gonna get him at least one time.
Listen, hold on. I'm still Miss Spencer. Why?
And the series that I'm talking about is the Muted Hopelessness series by Love Belvin,
Yeah.
narrated by Miss Wesley Siobhan and Emmanuel Ingram.
Come on, girl. Come on.
Now, this series right here, listening to this book, this is how I fell in love with Emmanuel Ingram. Emmanuel, as Mr. Ashton Spencer, was no joke whatsoever. This book was so daggone
fell
good.
in love with Ashton Spencer from this book. I did. I
From the beginning. Do
I
you
fell
hear
in love
me?
with
From the
Emmanuel.
beginning.
You heard me. I said I fell in love with Ashton Spencer. That's obvious, but I fell in love with Emmanuel from this book. That's who I fell in love with.
Yes. I love this book. I loved Ashton Spencer. I loved Tori McNabb. I loved how they loved each other. I loved, their story. It was so much that was going on. I loved young Ashton. I loved grown Ashton. Tori was somebody that I did not think that I would love, but I loved her so much. And I just loved everything about this story. Like everything about this story.
Look, you love me, girl. I love you too, girl. Yeah,
Because
earlier
I forgot this is your man. Because you are Tori McNabb. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, actually we did. She came in. That was my top for our number one book of the month discussion. The most streamed this year was our book of the month discussion over this series, where I was pretending and not pretending, but embodying to be Tori McNabb on the show. So I came in
Yes,
like you gear on and everything.
yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
state university.
But yes, this was my number one. I loved it hands down, like hands down.
All right, y'all. So before I get to my number one, I want to give a shout out to a book that I released this year. And the reason I want to give a shout out to it because I want to shout out my narrators. So I got to shout out my narrators for this book. And I want y'all to just check this out because seriously, it was just, hell, it's just dope, to be honest with you. Hold on. And I should have been prepared. Um, it wasn't. But the View 2, oh God, here I go.
There you go, right there.
Narrated by Jacoby DM, L. Cleveland, and Zachary Johnson. Okay. Um, y'all, it's called The View 2, Secrets, Lies, and Betrayal. Carly is with Hudson amidst her after her divorce. And their divorce opens Pandora's box of everybody around them. Their parents got secrets, their friends got secrets,
Mm.
they got secrets. Hell, they secrets got secrets. Okay. And
Woo.
a lot of this stuff started coming on out. And it just kept on rolling and it wouldn't stop. And Jacoby and Elle and Zachary did a phenomenal job. I want to take this time to thank them from the bottom of my heart for narrating this book. You guys did beautifully. And I live to hear Jacoby DM say the word motherfucker. You hear me? That man say motherfucker. It just do something to me, okay? But he and Elle and Zachary, they did a great job. I just had to take time out first and foremost to say that before we close and wrap this up. But let me get back to my actual number one.
All righty.
Make sure y'all grab it. It's on Book Funnel. Book is in my website. I'll get to all of it at the end. But cause look, cause that's a whole nother section. But my number one that we just heard about this.
Oh, that's so cool.
The
Oh
last
my gosh.
Innocence by Takira Allen, which is why I couldn't say much because I was like, that's my
Oh
number one.
my gosh. Your number one and my number two.
So
Oh,
gotta let y'all know Takira did her thing, okay?
she did.
She is my number one, again, narrated by Shayna Small. And I can, let me just say, this book was about Amore Brown, Amore Brown and Gabe Akbar.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just let y'all know right now. I'm gonna read y'all the review I left because I can't say nothing else. First of all, it covered my favorite era in the history of Everness, in
The 90s.
the best era ever, the 90s.
Ever.
Ever.
Yep.
So not even up for debate. But my review says, hands down, my favorite book by Takira Allen. Hands down, my favorite book of the year. Hands down, my all-time favorite book. I had an all-time favorite book that has been my all-time favorite book since I was 14 years old. And this book,
Mm,
that book. That's how good the book is. Okay, so it says this 90s themed eclectic story of Amore Brown is a history making legendary book for the ages. It has no boundaries. The tale is bigger than a story and broader than a genre. It's the hope of every brown girl with far reaching dreams of knowledge, career, and love. However, those dreams look. It is life in its rawest and purest and most exposed form. Last Stop from Innocence douses you into the era, the best ever, of great times and hard knocks, when people of color truly were on the cusp of finding themselves while dealing with the realities of who they were and where they come from. This coming of age novel is gripping yet tender, bewildering yet enthralling, all consuming yet loving, lost yet found. You fall in love with Amore and Gay, but the beauty is you also fall in love with Marvin the father, Tammy the cousin, Pyru the local kingpin, Mud the crew member, everyone, even the people
mhm.
you don't like, because everyone has a deeper story told through the eyes of Amore, the unsung champion for all those around her, even as she figures out how to champion for herself after a summer of love, loss, and life, from innocence to inspiration. That was my review that I left for Takira. I had to share it to just show you how deeply impacted I was. As Crystal said, I called her after I finished crying. I held
Crying.
on the phone for 2 hours in complete
Yes, talking about this book.
tears talking about this book. This, if you don't do anything for the rest of your days, you listen to this book. And as Chris, I say, look, I'm gonna say her word, listen. Okay,
Yep.
but definitely make sure you listen, because Shayna Small,
Did her thing.
she did her thing.
Did
This,
her thing.
when I tell you, as Crystal said, the utter devastation that you will feel in one chapter. This is another chapter that I could read this book several times and I would never read that chapter again because
Yes.
it was that emotionally disturbing.
Hmm.
But it was necessary for the read. And when I tell you that Takira went there, I don't see how she even penned.
I don't see how she did it. You right.
I would have needed therapy after I finished writing this chapter. I would
Yeah.
need therapy. But basically, Amore goes to visit her father for the summer. She just lost her mother. She's on her way to college. And this summer, basically just like
Changed
I
her life.
it changed her entire trajectory of her life. She
Yes.
found love, she suffered great loss, but she discovered who she was, and so many other people around them discovered who they were through their interconnectedness. Um,
Hmm.
it's so beautiful, such a beautiful story. Um, and what I love about it, it's so full of blackness. Oh my gosh, it's so when people read it, yes, it has our urban fiction hood elements in it, but it's told through such realness and rawness. Like
Right.
there's so much messaging in this book that it is just you when you read this book, I promise you, you will not go into this book and come out as the same person you were. Pick this book.
Right.
It is life changing. It is, like I said again, I have never read a book that automatically, from the moment I finished it, knew that this was going to be like my favorite book ever in life. And it is my favorite book ever. Like, it is not just my number one on this top 20, it is my number one overall throughout
It
every book.
it deserves to be. It was so good. So good. Oh,
All time favorite book in life at this point. So, Takira, my God in heaven, hats off to you, sweet baby.
yes, honey. Yes, yes.
You wrote
And
me
then,
and
like I said, getting to talk to her just made it even better. Just made it even better.
yes, because and let me just say this: she hadn't told us, and I feel away, but it's okay. Gabe is based off a real person.
I know, and she won't tell
And
us
she
who
won't tell us who it is at all. And I want to know so bad, y'all.
it is. Yeah,
So
I do too.
if y'all can all just kind of slide in her DMs and say, can y'all tell Untamed and Gabe?
And if y'all find out, tell us, please.
Look, tell her to tell me. She ain't gonna tell y'all, but maybe she will tell.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she
Yeah.
will tell me. And then she be like, Untamed, you gonna go and tell people. I won't.
Oh,
Look, now I'm telling y'all to do it, and then tell me so I ain't gonna tell nobody.
there you go.
Look, so I just want to know for myself, but I'm just letting y'all know, like, listen, this has been an amazing year of reading.
It has.
20 was just the bomb. These authors are the bomb. There's so many other people I read that this year who there were, if I could put like literally, if I could put every book I read on this top 20, I probably would. Like, I mean, I read a book like J.S. Carr, of course, Christina Jones. I've read so many books this year. Even authors who made the list, I read multiple of their books, and it's like, it was good. Like,
Yes.
so you know they're saying something when you make the list twice. That means you Opera Pen, Robert Renee, and Alexandria House. That means y'all were doing something super special because I literally had to. Girl, it was fighting. It was people. Look, these books was fighting for these top 20 slots this year.
Hmm.
That's why top 20 was needed because I couldn't just put this in the top 10. I could not. I couldn't do it. But
Right.
but that has been, our year. We appreciate you guys for rocking with us through the author interviews, through the Writer Wednesdays, through the Book of the Month discussions. We were going to bring it to you again this year. Crystal will be
Yeah.
in the fort sometimes by herself, and I appreciate her. Um,
I do. I appreciate you for like just giving me this opportunity because I love doing this. Like I do a lot and I love doing this the most. Like I be sitting here trying to figure out how to do things, move stuff around to make sure I get this done. So I appreciate you so much for letting me be here and on this ride with you because this ride is so much fun. It's a great ride.
so welcome, and I appreciate you for all that you do. Oh my god, I just could not imagine. I don't see how I did this before without you. So
I know. How did you do this by yourself? Because
oh
this
my
is a lot of
god.
stuff, y'all. This is a lot of work.
Listen, I don't know how I did it before without you, but I
Yes.
got you here. I sure appreciate you there to look to the hilts. Okay, you hear
Yes.
me?
Thank you. Thank you. Same, same, same.
And so, you guys, like I said, this is our last episode of the year, so you will not see any more from us. But hey, I mean, really, we just taking a couple of weeks off to be honest, because we're coming right back.
Because we'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages, as the old commercials used to say. After these
Yes.
messages, we'll be right back because we will be back on January the 11th with our interview with Donna Woods. Um, yes, that will be there. And then on the 24th of January, we will have our book of the month discussion. Now we have to reach out to Tay Monet to see if she will be able to join us. So we don't know if it's going to be audio or live yet, but it's going to be at 7 o'clock.
Right.
Regardless if it's live or not, it's gonna be 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. Okay.
There
Um,
we go.
on the 24th of January, and we are actually the book of the month is going to be "Tattoo Your Name on My Heart" by Tay Monet. I am currently listening to that book right now. It is narrated by Jacoby DM. Listen, it's Jacoby and who is the female? I know. Give me two
Got us
seconds.
in chokeholds all the time.
Listen, I know who it is, but oh my gosh, I want to make sure because I don't want to say the wrong name because all of these narrators will start going together in my head. It's Trey Taylor. So Trey
I
Taylor,
like her.
yes, Trey Taylor and Jacoby narrate "Tattoo Your Name on My Heart" by Tay Monet. I am currently listening to it. I'm on chapter 19, so I will be ready to go.
I gotta get my notes right. Look, I gotta start because you know once I start a book and it's good, I can't put it down.
I'll be ready to go at the end of next month when we are definitely doing the book of the month discussion. So please, y'all, make sure y'all tune in. And our author interviews, like I said earlier, when I told y'all go to UP and sign up, but the author interviews don't reopen until February 3rd for April through June submissions. We are already booked January through March um,
Yes. I'm
for our
excited.
interviews. So the next round is April through June, and those will reopen February 3rd. And I'm just gonna tell y'all now, yeah, y'all better if you plan on doing it, go ahead on because some of these people ain't waiting. They up here telling us, okay, you put my name in the hat and just call me when the list reopens. So we got some callbacks already. So get
Yep.
get on the train. Look, get on the train on February 3rd when we reopen because I don't know, these slots gonna fill up real quick. Um so and we hope that you did have a Merry Christmas. We didn't get a chance to talk to you before then, but hopefully you had a
Yes.
Christmas. But Crystal, you tell everybody like how they can get in contact with you and reach out to you and slide up in your DMs and stuff.
All right, so you can find me on TikTok. I started out with TikTok. Okay, Crystal. So you
Okay.
can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Now all of the other ones is Books and Soul, but on Instagram it is Books and Soul One. Definitely, please follow me on on my YouTube, which is Books and Soul. I'm building it up. I'm adding videos. I'm going to talk about different things on there. Like I love to travel, so you'll see some travel videos. I'm literally planning all of my content for next year, and it's a lot of work. But I wanted to do something this year. I felt like it was a little too late, so I might look into doing it next year. But there will be certain things that you would only see on my YouTube page. So go follow me on YouTube at Books and Soul. Okay, that's where I'm at.
Awesome, awesome. And you
Yeah,
can find me at Author Untamed. I'm there on Twitter. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am rarely there, but you can follow me on Twitter there. But I am also on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse, and YouTube at Author Untamed. Basically, you definitely will find me on Instagram and on TikTok the most, but and Facebook too. But just if that's where you want to hit me up, the quickest way to hit me up is going to be Instagram because
yeah,
I be on there a lot more. But you can follow me at all those places. Please do. Please make sure that you are following the Get Caught Up podcast on Instagram at Get Caught Up podcast. Also on Twitter at GCU_podcast. And we have a Facebook group called the Get Caught Up Author Podcast. Please make sure that you go on Facebook, join the group. We post in the group. I post a few memes there, but mostly just like book reviews, these interviews, these book of the month discussions. I try to really use that space to highlight authors. So please get behind them and support them and support the post and find you a new author or a new to you author. So that you can support them and just be what they need because that's mostly what authors need, that and reviews. I need
yes, yes.
make sure that
Where's your review?
look, if you do read, please make sure you do review. You don't have to read that much. Like it could be a one liner, if that's all you got in you. But definitely leave them something because that helps them get seen. It motivates us seriously, to keep going. So definitely leave your review. Um, and check out these books that made our top 20 list. These authors are phenomenal. Many of them are such beautiful, not only just great authors, but beautiful souls in general.
Yeah.
They're beautiful people in the heart. So please make sure that you do support them. Again, thank you to our sponsors. You guys, ooh, I appreciate y'all. And if you want to be a sponsor, let me, hey,
Yes, if you want to be a sponsor.
if you want to be a sponsor, please, you could donate to $ UP2016 through Cash App, or you can actually go to anchor.fm /get caught up, and you can actually donate and be a sponsor through there. We are available to listen on not only just Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, but
Who is it?
we are now also on Audible. We're also now on Amazon Music and on iHeartRadio. So tune in to get your
Yes, yes.
podcast. Make sure you do
Come
favorite,
on.
and subscribe. Do what you need to do. So that is pretty much all. Listen, Crystal got Crystal gotta go see what's going on in her house. We gonna wait for Crystal to come back on the camera because she had to go find out what's going on in her house. So then we'll close it out. But definitely, you guys, make sure you check it out. Again, we'll run down the top 20. Mine was Dead to Me by Ebony Evans. 19 was On the Run by Sheree Lewis. 18, Crimes of Passion, Jack Harburn. 17, Butterfly 4, Ashley Antoinette. 16, Unjust Love by Dania Marie. That is book 2, so make sure you read book 1 first. So you don't need it, but you would need to understand where the characters come from. Temper Me by Alexandria House, which is book 3. So please read books 1 and 2 first. The Marriage Contract by Shay Davis. Homecoming Season by Aubrey Penn. Chris and Devon Plan a Wedding by Shanicia C. Higgins. 8 by Risley Adams, and that's ATE, not the number 8, but the word 8, like you ate some food.
Mhm.
And In His Corner by Alexandra Warren was number 10. Holiday in the Hills, number 9 by Aubrey Penn. 8, Kendrick Xander by Robbie Renee. 7, Free Game by Kima B. 6, The Fort by Joan Vossa, which is book 5. So read books 1 through 4. You definitely got to read that to understand 5. You ain't gonna get around it. So
Yep.
you might as well just settle in for a ride. Book number 5 was Technical by Alexandria House. It's book 2 in the Cyclone series. You don't need to read the others to understand book 2 at all, but it's just fun to read anyway because Alexandria is an awesome writer. Number 4 is Pretty Shattered Soul by Robert Renee, which is book 1. Um, Number 3 was My Seven Black Fathers by Will Jawando. Number 2 is book 2 by Robert Renee, Pretty Shattered Hearts. And my number 1 favorite book of all time, Last Stop for Innocence by Takira Allen. So yes,
All
if you can run
right.
down your list, Crystal, you can run down your list again too.
Yes. Okay. So number 20, Lace Panties by Tip Montana. Number 19, Darwin Special Jewel by Miss Sassy the author. Number 18, Blue by M. Monique. Number 17, The Sweetest Heat by Bianca Xavier. Number 16, Conflicted Hearts by Kay Shanae. Number 15, A Beautiful Surprise by Robbie Renee. 14, Never Again, No More, Karma's Payback, author Untamed. Number 13, To Be Loved, Kayla Shawn. Number 12, Epiphany, Bailey West. Number 11, Colliding with Fate, A.E. Valdez. Number 10, Tempted by Danger, Dyer Carter. Number 9, the Barat Family Series, Monica Walters. Number 8, the Black Series, Joan Vosser. Number 7, The Trenches, Aubrey Penn. Number 6, The Marriage Contract, Shay Davis. Number 5, Real, Kennedy Ryan. Number 4, 7 Days in June, Tia Williams. Number 3, On the Run, Sheree Lewis. Number 2, Last Stop from Innocence, Takira Allen. And number 1, The Muted Hopelessness Theories by Miss Love Bell.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
we've been reading. I didn't think I was going to make my 200 this year. I did. And to be and truthful, I actually read more than 200 books this year. I probably read about 3, maybe almost 4. But some of those is because I read for people. So, and I've been doing a lot of reading. So,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
think I might have read 60. Crystal know why my readings for me to get 60 in is huge. I'm trying to tell
Right.
y'all. For me to
Yes.
get 60 in is good. Crystal understand why, like she knows. So uh, listen. So but I promise you, all 60 of them was absolutely amazing too.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but you guys, we thank you so much for tuning in. We thank
Yes.
you
Thank
for
you.
not just today, but the entire year, like all of
I
20.
know. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry I had to get up. People knocking at the door and wouldn't stop. So I had to answer it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's okay. Listen, we kept on rolling. That's cool.
Yeah. There we
kept on
go. That's how we do it.
kept
Yes.
on rolling. But Crystal, again, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for a beautiful year. I look
Thank
to
you.
our 2023 together.
Yes, 2023 is about to be lit. Look, I'm sliding in DMs asking people, can they come to the show? Like I'm doing it all.
Listen,
Doing
and
it
y'all
all.
better come on because look, Crystal gonna be manning a lot of shows.
And I'm asking questions. I ain't cutting no cards. If I want to know a question, I'm asking it. So be ready for whatever that's going to come out because it's going to get real.
I will try to be there, but I can guarantee you that my time is gonna be limited. But yeah, I love y'all, and I welcome you on the show. I welcome
Yes.
you on the show. I promise I do. My absence is not intentional to you guys, but I'll be making announcements as we go along. But I will say this that, well, one I can announce. I will be producing a film at the end of January called Dishonorable. So I will be out of town, being doing that good work. Um, Producing film. It is based on the novella Dishonorable by author India Williams. So although I might not be able to be present for some of the interviews and things what that is going on with the filming. I'm still out there in these streets helping authors, helping India's dream come true of turning her book to film, and I'm so proud of her.
Yes.
So yes, I'll be on set on location. Sorry guys, but
There she go. Yep.
so
She out there doing the movies. That's what she doing.
I'm doing movies, so I promise y'all, it's that I still got love for y'all, and even and I may even still be able to slide in if I can. I'll try to see, even if it ain't but to do it. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? And slide back out.
Right. Slide back out. We'll
You
we'll
slide
make it
back
work.
out. We'll make it work. But again, that is our top 20 of the year. And as always, as I say, don't forget to get caught up.
Bye.